Well, hello everyone. Happy Wednesday. We made it halfway. Ah, what else is going on with you guys? Well, it is day 163 for me. Thanks for tuning in wherever you guys are watching me, whether it's on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. It is now almost 8 p.m. my time, so I did start a little bit late today, so forgive me for that. But we got a lot of work to do. So as long as I'm feeling productive, as long as I'm being productive, we're gonna stream. Let me just charge my keyboard here. Let's turn on the fan. Oh, my cats are going crazy. Oh, look who's hanging out with us at the start of the stream today. Kimbap. Oh, that reminds me. I was like, hey, something's off. I forgot to turn on one of my lights. Because you can see right now, everything looks a little bit too warm, and my background has a bit of a purple vibe going on. Yeah. All right, let me go fix that real quick. I'll put it on my cat camera for now. Which one? There you are. Be right back. Good boy. There we go. Perfect. Although, you know what? I think right now, just over here, that white wall looks a bit purple because I did raise my light. I usually use this one light right above the frame, pointing at my cat. And I did aim it slightly upwards this time, so I don't know, it's not a big deal. But maybe later I'll try to fix it so this is a bit bluer up on the white wall. So preferably, I want that blue over here to extend all the way to the edge of that wall. Nitpicking, I don't even know if that's a better aesthetic, but anyways, guys, thanks for being here. All right, so happy Wednesday. Yesterday I was at an event, so I wasn't able to stream, but it was really cool. I met a bunch of different people in different industries. It was just like a networking event, but I met a couple people who are super into like the streaming world, and so I got a lot of good advice, encouragement, and in the most coincidental of things, there was someone I met there who went to the same university as me. How crazy is that? And we actually overlapped. Like I might be a few years older than this person. I forget exactly when they said, but the point is we were at the same university at the same time for a little bit. So small world, I love those moments where it's like, damn, it is a small world. So that was a cool little coincidency thing that happened yesterday. Otherwise, it was a good event, and I'm back today. So we've got, like I said, it's about 8 p.m. I've got at least 2 to 3 hours in me, okay? Because I just saw the notification that the new episode of Widow's Bay is out today. So I really want to watch that, so you know how it is. Oh my god, it's getting hot in here. Hold on. Let me also turn up the AC. Another quick little break here. Be right back. I'll put it on my cat again. Although it's going to be super quick. Good boy. What a good boy you are. Wow. Good boy. Let me blow my nose. Yes. All right, we're officially back. Okay, so let's get cracking. Here we go. As per usual, let me just set up my chess games and let's get this sound game going. Pausing that music, turning up the volume, switching screens, hiding all these stupid ads, and let's go. Ooh, this might be bad. That's okay. We accept. I had the fan going. Yo, yo. Hold on. Where did that come from? Sorry, I missed it. Dang it. Wait, who just did what? Hold on. Let me just finish this. Jesus Christ, I was really off. Thank you. Oh, over on the YouTube side. Thank you, Hannah. Hannah New Angel. Damn. Hannah New Angel. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. We're just doing a chill stream today. I am going to do some proper photo video edits in a second. But this is usually how I like to warm up. I play a quick game of this audio thing, and then we'll get 2 games of chess in, and then we're Gucci. Okay, not my best game, not my worst either. But it's way too hot. I don't know why. I'm like overheating right now. So I need to turn the fan on. We're going to move on. Oh, shoot. I got one more. Jesus. All right. Well, there you go. Not my best, not my worst. The freaking rating system is still broken, so whatever. Okay, let's get back into it. Turn this down. Here we go. Let's get 2 games, just 2 proper dubs. This is the closest I can be to calling myself a gaming streamer. But no, like, okay, so quickly, let me just also introduce myself as I play. We'll do a bit of multitasking here. I go by YobelPrize. My name's Yobel. I stream on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. I've been learning how to be a streamer for the past year, I guess. This is my 163rd stream. And my ultimate goal is to do IRL... I made the wrong move. It's okay. Is to become like an IRL streamer, specifically around the subject of wildlife. So, you know, hopefully you guys will be able to join me on my travels as we go on safaris and explore the wild. So that's going to be the next step in my streaming journey. But generally speaking, I'm a wildlife and travel photographer and also a videographer. And so in the past 2 years, I've been starting to travel specifically to learn how to do cinematography, videography. The past half a year, I started to learn more about filmmaking. And so I'm trying to evolve my YouTube content from travel vlog style. I'll keep doing that because like I have so many travels I've been on and a lot of stories to tell, but I do want to up my game eventually where I'm able to tell proper film stories, like where there's, you know, with intention, I'm traveling somewhere to capture the key story. So anyways, that's kind of my journey. So when I'm streaming, you're basically getting to watch me, usually besides this silly chess game, you should be getting a glimpse into my editing process. So what you'll see in terms of the content, what do I, Jesus, besides getting crushed in chess, because I'm clearly bad at multitasking, I might as well just resign at this point, but you never know. You'll get to see me editing my photos and videos from my travels. Over the past 2 to 3 years, I've been fortunate to be able to travel quite a lot. I went to about over a dozen countries. I mentioned at this point I have over 150 terabytes worth of oh, this guy messed up. I have about 150 terabytes worth of footage that I captured from all the travels I've been on. So a lot of stuff to get through. So I hope you guys will enjoy getting to follow along in that journey with me. In the meantime, let me crush this guy in chess. We can enjoy many things together, including making this guy feel foolish. Wow, so I was getting crushed, but like, and by the way, I don't even blame this guy because it happens to me all the time. When you're beating someone, you let your guard down, you know? You think you're on top of the world, as they say. So then your hubris kicks in, you relax, and you make one too many mistakes. And thankfully, I was able to capitalize on it. This is also a good reason why sometimes you shouldn't quit. I was very close to just hitting that resign button because I was like, okay, what's the point? I wasn't paying attention. I'm just getting absolutely demolished. Let's give up and play a new game. But look at this. The guy made a mistake, and now we're on top, baby. Now, the same principle could apply to me. I might, if I'm not careful, I could make the exact same mistake and let my hubris ride to the end here. So let's be careful. But I think I got this. Yes. Sorry, King Pop. Oh, look, my other cat has joined. Oh, there's King Pop. And then there's Nala. What a good girl. Yes. So we got the whole crew here today. Thanks, guys, for joining in. I've just started my stream. If you're watching me on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, I appreciate wherever you are. And then you can watch all my other streams. I think it's, right now, I might only have it set to YouTube. I'm not sure if the VODs exist on the other two. But either way, thanks, guys. Now, I do have one more game of chess to crush, and then we're going to get into some video edits. Today, I think the focus is going to be on video edits. So I've got a lot of footage that I captured with the Nikon ZR. I've basically, all my trips in the past half a year has been shot with the Nikon ZR. I am very, very excited with this camera because it has definitely gotten me to evolve, elevate my skills as a filmmaker. And so back in, what is it, March and April, I was gone for 2 months as I was traveling through Uganda and Tanzania, and I was staying at, what should I do here? What is this guy doing? He's just being a nuisance. I was staying at a friend's place in Munich while I was in between my travel projects. So if you're not aware, there's a crazy, oh yeah, sorry, I should have also said, I live in Dubai. So not that things have been crazy in Dubai, honestly, it really hasn't, but there is technically a war going on with a lot of the craziness as you might expect from a war. As such, it was a little bit nerve-wracking when it was coming to, like, I had 3 different projects. One was with CNN, one was with my own photo tour that I was organizing, where I'm taking photographers with me for 9 days across Uganda to see, you know, to join on gorilla treks, chimpanzee treks, all of that. And then I had another workshop where I was the photography instructor for a high-end safari operator. So the point is, there was a lot of, you know, things where I am getting paid to do a service, and if I can't join, or if I end up having to cancel because the airport in Dubai is shut down, then that's like huge missed opportunities that obviously I didn't want happening to me. So, and bear with me as I'm multitasking, so if I'm stuttering or if I'm pausing over my words, it's because my brain is shutting down, trying to see how I can crush this guy in chess. But things are a little bit wacky here. I'm not in the most, this is a little bit precarious, the situation I'm in. Because I've got a lot of exposed pieces here. You know, there's a weak point here. I got this bishop that's in a weak spot. I've got this knight in a weak spot. So I just gotta be careful here. What should I do? I'm gonna double up on this guy. Let's see what he does. All right, I think that's enough of an intro, right? Did I miss anything? What should I do here? This cheeky bastard. It's okay. I'm gonna move my knight over here, I think, and then we'll have one. Okay, fine. Oh, I think I have a good move here. Oh no, I was about to cause a no. That's a good move. I get a free pawn. He's gonna take, but then I'll take, which then frees up my rook here. Oh no, my queen is still safe. And he has to take my queen or he has to move his queen. Yeah, there we go. Which then lets me protect the pawn structure so these 2 rooks don't knock that one out. But I still got to be careful with this hanging bishop here. I think I'm just gonna trade up. I am up by 1 now, so I'm open to a trade. He is not open to it, of course. Not that I'm complaining. So what should I do? Let's start shifting pieces around. All right, I'm gonna threaten the queen. Let's see what he does. He's probably gonna threaten my queen in a second here. I think? Would he do that? I don't know. I'm assuming he likes having all 3 lined up here. Yeah. Alright, that's fine though. I get a free piece. Let's see if he finally takes the trade. Will you accept my offer? He does not. So then we're gonna do another little forky fork. This is a war of attrition now. So for me, it's all about just knocking pieces out. I'm okay with even trades at this point because I'm up by 2. Hells yeah. Oh, this looks awkward. But like I said, we're just accepting trades now. Oh shoot. I got 18 seconds. Oh my god, I wasn't paying attention. That's not good. Oh, I have a free piece. Boom. There we go. Boom. There we go. Boom. There we go. And I'm going to force him to trade off in a second here, I think. Boom. 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 Take. Boom. Oh, I got to be careful. All right. Now I'm just going to... Yeah. Because I could lose on time here. Oh, I was close. I only had 0.4 seconds left. Woo! All right. Anyways, we're done. We're done with our chess. Cool. All right, now we can get started on doing some video edits. Yo, what's happening? Guten Abend, Daytor. Daytor says, good evening, Guten. Oh, have I been saying it wrong this whole time? I keep saying Albend, like A-L-B-E-N-D. It's Abend? Guten Abend. Okay. Guten Abend, Daytor. Thanks for hopping into today's stream. It's going to be a chill one. I got a lot of just video stuff to cut. I just finished the editing of my next YouTube video. I'm excited to show you guys. It's about 21 minutes long, I think. Here, I'll give you guys an inside scoop. Here it is. How long is the video? It is almost 21 minutes, yeah. 20 minutes and 56 seconds. So this took a little bit longer than usual. I was working with my editor for quite a bit of revisions here, which is not a bad thing. It's just, you know, I imagine it's not fun to work for someone like me because I can be very nitpicky. I can be, you know, I pride myself in being very detail oriented. But the point is we got it across. So I've got this video you can kind of quickly see here. It's going to be a fun, challenging video for me in the sense like this is the first time I'm doing something like this, but it was when I was in Munich. The first, I think like 5 or 6 days when I was there, I wanted to make sure I was preparing for my trips, right? So I mentioned I had the CNN project, then I had my own Uganda project, and then I had the Tanzania safari project. So I hadn't traveled in the months prior to this, so I wanted to make sure I shake off the rust and I was comfortable shooting with my cameras, the Nikon ZR. I had 2 ZRs with me, plus I had a bunch of different other gear, action cameras and all that. So every day I woke up early, I took 1 camera, 1 lens, and then I would just go on the German scooters or bikes and just go in different directions, see what I see, and then take 5 photos, 5 videos every day. So that was my challenge. So basically in this video, you can watch you would see as I travel across Germany when when I was in Munich, traveling across some parts of Munich as I was going around trying to capture different scenes like photo moments, video moments, yeah, and just hopefully getting some good shots. And of course, I'm happy with some of the final shots I got, like this one I've shared with you guys on stream before. So I hope you guys will enjoy. I have to put a number of, it's not finished yet. I have probably 1 or 2 days before I can publish it. I have to, things like working on the thumbnail. I got to think about the description here. I might have to adjust a few points here and there. But yeah, it's in a really good spot. I'm very excited to show you guys some new type of stuff that I was shooting. I usually don't do urban photography or like street videography or urban stuff. So this was a really interesting challenge for me to actually see if I can improve my skills. So look forward to that. That's probably going to be ready. If I'm really efficient, I'll have it ready by tomorrow. If I'm normal mode, it'll be published on Friday. Today's Wednesday, so yeah. Anywho, all right, we got a bunch of YouTube videos lined up here. So today's gonna be a fun, chill day, like I said. And while I'm editing, I do want to watch some videos here. So let me see if I can line this up. All right. Let's get this thing here. We'll pause that. Okay, what's the first video we got lined up? Why Interstellar Feels Timeless. Another video. I'll never forget this night in New York City from our boy KC. Oh yeah, shout out to Fedorevsky, one of our fellow chatters and community members. So if he hops in here later, I will. We can watch it while he's here. Then we got our boy Luke Forsyth, the best job in film that nobody talks about. That sounds interesting for me.
What's up,
When companies give you stuff, I mean, hells yeah, I should learn. I would love to know how companies can keep giving me free stuff. We have had a few of those, which has been nice. We got to maintain the, we should maintain the momentum. The most interesting displays in the world, Marquise Brownlee, how Keanu Reeves reinvented the action hero.
There's a very good...
Your memory cards are fake. And then we watched this the other day. Shooting photos for National Geographic. Don't mind if I watch that. How to film your life like a movie. Oh yeah, this is from Life of Riza. I haven't seen a lot of her stuff, but I remember seeing her things. I watched some of her videos, which inspired me to, when it comes to like how do I be a YouTuber, what kind of content is worth shooting and how to shoot. And I feel like she does an excellent job of doing that. So I think that should be worth watching.
Exterior day.
And then Better Call Saul. Okay, we got plenty of videos. Damn, what do we start with? Let's do Casey. I feel like his videos always gets me in a good mood. So let's put this on in the background. And then, unfortunately, I'm going to do a lot of boring video edits to start because I'm just reviewing a lot of my action camera footage to see the moments where you see the Freewell variable ND filter on my camera. So occasionally you'll see that I have an ND filter put onto the front of my camera lens. And I do want to make a YouTube video about, it's like a product review about that specific product. So I'm just looking for any moments where you see it because obviously I want to capture as B-roll for the video. All right, here we go.
Everyone that was in New York City when the Knicks won the finals has a story of when they were in New York City when the Knicks won the finals. This is my story.
Not going well. Still can't get it up. They can't seem to get the live game up.
My little girls wanted to go to like a watch party, but the watch parties are they're too chaotic. So the wife and I thought, why not throw our own watch party? So I came to the studio, we got the projector, I got a speaker, got the battery, and then we went and found a nice spot and we set things up. This is what it looked like when we started. We found a nice spot on a street where cars can't drive down, 3 little kids, and 4 chairs. One of the chairs was for me. Important detail here. When I'm with my kids, I don't have cameras and stuff because I like to be present with them. So this whole night, like the greatest New York City night, I didn't film anything. Like I had a point and shoot, I got a couple clips, but everything else is just like photos and videos from my friend's phone.
Maybe we'll see a Knicks win at the watch party. Oh my God.
Almost immediately, people started joining our little projector party.
Of
Fantastic.
course.
But there were some technical snafus. See, the projector didn't have a Bluetooth, and then the speaker didn't have like cable in. So I had to connect the speaker to Candace's phone, stream it from Candace's phone to the speaker, and then line that up with the projector. But we got it to work.
It's working.
Wow.
Working great. Then I realized every time I looked over my shoulder, the crowd had doubled.
That would have been fine. We're going to get a second look at
Like exponentially.
Man, watching Casey's videos makes me want to move to New York City. I'm not opposed to it. I mean, it's just a pretty damn expensive place to live. But I lived in San Francisco before, and that was damn expensive. So I feel like it's on par. I still have a bunch of friends who live there, and every time I visited, it feels, the energy is palpable. It's electric. It's very intoxicating. And let's throw in one more. Very addicting. How about that? It is a very New York City thing. I don't think there's any other city in the world that kind of matches that vibe. So I can totally see the excitement of moving to a place like there and just constantly just feeling the energy of a place. Yeah, that's one of the knocks I have on Dubai. There's nothing wrong with Dubai per se. It's just, especially because the weather and it gets so hot, unless you have a car, so it's easy to go around to different places. It's just, yeah, that kind of cultural vibe is very isolated. You have to go to select locations to get that energy. Whereas New York City, it almost feels like every street you walk on, it's there, it's been there for decades and decades. So yeah, anyways, I like watching Casey's videos. Look at that.
Everyone
That's
was having
crazy.
just the greatest time.
I can't believe you put this all together.
Towards the end of the third quarter, the crowd had grown to like several hundred, but I noticed something catastrophic.
Audio? Oh,
When
battery.
we got there, the battery's at 100%. That was at the beginning of the second quarter. At this moment, there was 2 minutes and 25 seconds left in the third quarter, and the battery was at 22%.
Oh, no.
So in my head, I did some quick battery math. With 225 left in the third quarter, the battery is at 22%. So if you have the second quarter plus the third quarter minus the 225 left in that quarter, you get a total of 21 minutes and 35 seconds of gameplay watch. That equals 1,295 seconds. 1,295 seconds equals 78% of the total battery life. T equals 1,295 over 0.78, which is about 1,660.26 seconds. Divide that by 60 and get the total battery life, which is 27 minutes and 40 seconds. Take 27 minutes and 40 seconds minus the battery life used, you're left with 6 minutes and 5 seconds before the battery hits 0. Now with 225 left in the third, 12 minutes in the fourth, you have 14 minutes and 25 seconds of gameplay left. And you take that 14 minutes and 25 seconds of gameplay left, you minus the 6 minutes and 5 seconds that the battery is left in it, and it means with 8 minutes and 20 seconds of gameplay left, the battery is dead. Catastrophic. This was when the magic that is the people of New York City came together. First, this dude sitting right behind me, that guy. He ran all the way back to his apartment and grabbed every extension cord he had. We conjured up about 35 feet of daisy-chained extension cord.
Does that actually work?
Then I went and got my car, but NYPD wouldn't let me get anywhere near a closed-down street that had 300 people on it. I begged them. Very precarious situation. In any event, I got my truck close enough to plug an extension cord into my truck and then run that from my truck back to the projector.
Wow.
But in order to switch power from the battery to the extension cord, I had to unplug it and undo all that stuff that I set up at the beginning. I did that, The power worked.
Testing for HIV before each injection. If you think you are...
But then nothing else worked.
Man, he's such a good
We were
storyteller
down for
too.
like 5 or
Jesus.
6 minutes. The crowd was getting testy. I was able to get the audio back up because that was coming off of Candace's phone, and I felt like that bought me a couple of minutes, but the pressure was on. I was like covered in sweat. There was like this huge dude next to me
Oh
helping
my
me, but
God.
there was a moment I didn't think it was gonna happen.
I'm stressing just listening
Not
to this.
going well.
Then, just like that, as if God himself, Jalen Brunson reached down from the clouds and blessed us. It came back on with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Come on! Come on!
Wow. What an amazing feeling that would have been. I do miss sports. I'm just like so far removed from watching sports these days. I might try to get back into UFC. That's like the latest, but all right. Thank you, Casey. Making me want to move there. What do we got next? Why Interstellar feels timeless. The Pier from Fedorevsky. The best job in film that nobody talks about. Let's watch this.
The street what a film producer actually does, you're probably going to get 10 different answers, because if you ask 10 people on the street what a film producer actually does, you're probably going to get 10 different answers, because it doesn't seem like many people outside the industry actually understand what it is they do, which is strange because producing might just be the most underrated job on a crew for people who want to work.
Okay, in the meantime, I'm now officially on day 3 of the trip to, so basically right now I'm editing my footage from Uganda. This was my second trip to Uganda in March, April. So that first trip was with CNN. I still don't know. I'm still waiting to hear back on what I can share from that trip. So I don't want to do anything that'll get me in trouble. So I'm just waiting before I can properly share with you guys the behind the scenes, all the footage from the CNN project that I was on. But then I went back to Uganda for my own project. As I mentioned, I took a couple of photographers with me. And so this was on, let's see, April 5th, the 3rd day. Yeah. So now we are officially on day 3 of this trip in terms of the footage that I need to edit. And the way I edit, I have multiple timelines opened. So I have one for 25 frames, then for timeline for anything I shot at 50 frames. And then we've got any footage I captured at 60 frames. And like I said, we are now moving on to here. So, and I've color coded, so everything in this kind of light green I know should be from the same day. So that also kind of helps me figure out where to start for each timeline. And yeah, so there we go. So now we are on day 3 across all the timelines. So let me go ahead and start to color grade. Starting with the 25 frames per second clips, and then we'll go from there.
Work on projects from start to finish, and the really good ones are never short of work.
I feel like, especially in the internet world, director and DP are really the only thing that people really think about from the outside. What does that work actually entail?
Being a field producer is a lot of taking care of people. It's making sure
The funny thing is, and I wonder if this is the direction Luke is going to go with this, because what was the title of his YouTube video? The best job in film that nobody talks about. To me, when I think about what kind of job, would I want to work in the film industry? Absolutely. The more I've been spending in this space and learning about it and shooting and all that kind of stuff, it just feels like, it feels perfect for what I want to do, and it lines up with my passions. Now, do I really want to be a DP? Do I want to be the actual director of photography? Do I want to be the whatever, the lead producing and creating things? In some ways, obviously, if it's my own idea, there's a great value to that. But to me, I just like contributing. Like, for instance, that CNN project, it was so much fun for me. And, I was playing a secondary role. I was not like I'm not the mastermind behind any of that. I was just a dude with a camera, just following orders, and at times trying to be creative with the creative freedom they allowed for me, right? With the space they allowed me to film random moments, and then, yeah. And to me, that was fun, just being this like camera operator. And so to me, it's like, I wouldn't mind just being in that role as like my main default role in the industry. Less pressure, but at the same time, it's very therapeutic. It was very fun. So anyways, I wonder where he's going to go, like what job specifically.
Sure, that all the different departments know what's going on. So it's like working with your crew in that way, kind of just staying on top of any new developments.
I think people don't quite understand how much creative impact or influence producing can have. I always kind of imagine it like a triangle. You've got a director, a DP, and a producer are sort of the key crew when you're out in the field. And the director's like, what is the story we're telling? The DP is like, what will it look like? And the producer is, how will we make this work?
So if you love telling stories and the whole process of making films, but you've never pictured yourself as the technical person behind the camera, producing might be for you. But for some reason, nobody on the internet seems to talk about it or what it takes to make it as a producer. So I sat down with one of my favorite dog producers, Natalie Ruiz-Davis, who I've worked with a bunch of times on different projects over the years, and who's produced huge shows like Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown and Somebody Feed Phil, which just wrapped its 8th season, I think, on Netflix. So in this conversation, we go over what producing actually is, how people get producing jobs in the first place, and how much it's possible to make doing this job that no one on the internet seems to talk about.
A lot of the producing I did on this shoot was like figuring out the story we're telling as it's happening, keeping track of it. And for someone being in front of the camera and behind the camera, that would be a lot for you to keep tabs on.
100%, yeah. When we've done more complicated YouTube stuff in the past, it's really, really hard with just 2 people, which is how we originally tried it, a camera and then someone filming me. So the reason I brought Natalie on was to try and keep track of all those different layers. And it's been so helpful. Like, we'll throw in some cutaways there, but she's got this big index card system of like all the story beats, when they happened, kind of generally where they are, the most interesting points. They're all color coded.
On the back of the index cards, I make little notes about what we specifically filmed, especially on a shoot like this where we're filming a few different videos, a few different styles, and we don't quite know what it's going to be in the edit yet, so it's good to like keep track while we're here and everything is fresh.
So when we start going into post and we're trying to turn this into 4 or 5 videos and we're working remotely, it's going to be so much smoother when normally what I would have done is just come back with a mountain of footage, no real clue what's on there, and then spent a month having to filter through everything. We're going to be able to...
A month panicking.
A month panicking, yeah. And then calling Natalie and asking what to do.
Yeah.
And how did we meet? What were you working on? What were we working on?
I met Luke when we were working on a 3-week documentary shoot in Papua New Guinea. I was on the office side, Luke was on the field with A-list talent. From the beginning, I felt like the shoot was cursed. Just the process of getting the visas, the process of working with a local producer who was a bit unreliable. Like, definitely from that shoot, we thought that our work in the office was going to be quite small because once y'all went to Papua New Guinea, you'd be there and you'd be in the hands of the local producer. And then it ended up being such a dramatic shoot that didn't really happen, and we were working a lot. Yeah,
everything fell apart. Like, our A-list talent who cannot be named got really sick, and there was like a helicopter evacuation from a mountainside, and
a sound guy impaled his leg and then sent us a photo of his leg in the body of an email. That's what I'm most angry about.
Yeah, I remember I felt so bad because I'd gone in to do the gear checkout. I felt so bad for them. And
Yeah, you met us face to face and you saw how earnest we were. Yeah, the shoot just went really crazy, and because it was so stressful, you know, different sides of people come out and people react intensely, and being in production, you're often at the brunt of that, especially over email, except for Luke. He was always so nice and so patient. And then at the end of the shoot, we got a gift card in the mail for like an alcohol delivery service to our office, and we teared up.
Luckily, they were very cheap to buy off.
Yeah,
Cheap
just
taste.
$50 gift card.
Yeah,
That'll
50
do
bucks worth of booze sent to the office, and
I was like 23, yeah.
there you go. It's as easy as that.
Okay, so great. That's all well and good to have met on a big shoot, but the question most people probably have right now is how do you even become a producer in the first place? Because even though every shoot over a certain size has a producer usually, it's not all that obvious how to start landing gigs. And Natalie didn't get her start in New York or LA either. She broke in while living way off the mainstream grid in West Texas.
I was always interested in going to the film industry, but I didn't, growing up in like suburban Texas, I just didn't really understand what that could mean or what role would be suited for me. I had kind of daydreamed about going to a film school, but ultimately just like financially didn't make sense for me or my family. So I went to this tiny school in far West Texas.
Not like a major film hub.
No, not at all. But it ended up being a place, because it was so rural and very beautiful, lots of productions would come through. And there was such a small pool of competent people that I ended up getting hired on like a couple commercials. A grad like student film from Columbia came and hired me as a local assistant where I was driving them around. There was a minor league baseball team and I would film interviews with the players and just kind of, I was the person around town who had access to a camera through the school. And then a food and travel show, Parts Unknown, came through this tiny West Texas town.
At the time,
This is so crazy. Because I literally was having this thought before. I was like, I think I might even said on stream, but I was curious, like, about not Idiots Abroad, Parts Unknown with Anthony Bourdain. But it's so cool that she actually got to work on that.
as well, Anthony Bourdain was one of the most famous TV celebrities. That was a big show to come through.
Yes. I'm sure lots of people have felt this way working as local assistants, but I was just completely taken with the idea of the like what this show was doing, and the people working on the show were really friendly, really open and nice to me. They were just this like cool group of people who were based in New York, where I was thinking about moving after I finished school, but would travel around the world working on this show, having all these incredible experiences. And the producer really took me under her wing in a lovely way and kind of empowered me and affirmed things I was good at. She was like, you're very organized and competent, like these are skills that you're good at that would work in the industry. And seeing her role and how the producer on set worked with everyone and kind of made sure all the different departments were communicating and effective made me realize that I had some of those skills and that could be something to, like a goalpost in mind.
I feel like I had a similar experience where I'd only done stills working on my own a lot, and then I got onto a first proper crew, and the collaborative nature of it just like immediately grabbed me, and it was like, I want more of this. Your approach was not to go to New York first. You sort of did what you could get where you were, even though it wasn't a major hub, and then became sort of a big fish in a very small pond. So when an opportunity did present itself, you were the first person on that list.
So I personally love stories like that because it's so easy to think that you can't make anything happen if you don't live in a huge film center. But Natalie's story is a great example of how you can get started from really anywhere. And then after you get some traction and when it makes sense, then you can think about going somewhere bigger or not. But the point is you can get started from wherever you are, and thinking you can't is just making excuses.
So you got that show and you realized, okay, I'm all in. And then you took off for New York?
I moved to New York. Everyone was asking me, like, what's your plan? Like, who are you gonna work for in New York? And I would just lie. And I would say, I'm gonna work for 0.0. And at the time, I didn't fully understand, but what quickly became clear is even if you have a really good experience with a production company as an assistant, just going to the company and dropping off your resume doesn't equal a job by any stretch. I worked with one producer who gave me really good advice on moving to New York instead of the kind of vague platitudes that a lot of people gave me, like positive, but you know, just, yeah, come by and drop off your resume, it'll be great. But I worked with one producer who said, save up enough money to live for 6 months in New York, find a really cheap apartment, and just, you have to like work locally as a production assistant and get more like breadth of experience than you have right now. And then when something opens up at our company and you're like ready to strike for it, call all of us that like know you and like you, and we'll all vouch for you, and like we'll try and get you on board then.
Well, how did it go for you? You came in, and how did you get your first job as a PA?
So when I first moved to New York, I was on a few Facebook groups that would post, production coordinators would post looking for PAs for different projects around the city. So a few weeks in, I got my first job from one of those posts.
Go Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook groups, local Zero Heroes. I got a few more jobs from that post. And then at a certain point, maybe 3 or 4 months in, all of my jobs came from recommendations of people I'd worked with.
From those previous 3 or 4 jobs.
Exactly.
So I'm just going to cut in for a quick second here because this is just such an important point, and it's something that's been true for pretty much everyone I know in this business. You start with a small network, you do a really good job for them, and then everything else comes off the back of those early relationships. But when I met Natalie, she was already working at 0.0, which at the time was one of the biggest doc production companies in the world. They'd made Anthony Bourdain shows and had a ton of stuff in development for Netflix, and for someone who snuck in the back door from West Texas, it was a pretty huge opportunity. So I wanted to drill down a bit on how that all came together.
And so then when you finally, the opportunity opened up, everyone vouched for you, you took your chance, and you got hired at ZPZ. What kinds of things did they have you working on? Like, what was the path through that big company?
After a year of being a PA in New York, I knew I just wanted to stop being an assistant. At one point, I found myself on a hidden camera show, just like sorting through 12 bags of mini marshmallows. So then my objective was like, okay, need to stop being at the very bottom of the totem pole. And even though my heart was still set on being a creative producer, I knew that I was organized enough that I could go into the production, which is more on like the logistical side of, you know, these documentary series and stuff. So I'd had some experience being a production coordinator, and then the role that opened up at ZPZ on Somebody Feed Phil was as a production coordinator. They were looking for someone with lots of international experience, which I had none of. So it was a kind of a trial by fire situation.
Such a thankless job, because if everything goes perfectly, everyone's like, of course that went perfectly. And then if anything goes wrong, like if one rental car isn't ready, then everyone comes at you.
Thank you for saying that. Yes, it was a thankless job.
Why did you want to be a producer? Like, I feel like, especially in the internet world, director and DP are really the only thing that people really think about from the outside. Why did you have that idea that you always wanted to be a producer?
Because I wasn't sure if I had enough creativity on my own to be a director. I dabbled in camera a bit, but I've just never cared for gear that much, you know?
Yeah. It's not your thing.
It's just not my thing. So, and being a director seemed like so much creative responsibility that I hadn't really honed or figured out where I was coming from with that. And so I found lots of joy in the beginning being part of a creative team and not being like the driving force, but helping. I thought that that was maybe where my role was. And that's why being a producer would work well for me. Because I am organized, although production levels of organization really stress me out. So it wasn't, which I think a lot of people experience working in production, so it wasn't particularly fulfilling. But creative organization, I'm extremely good at, and it's more fun. It's really rewarding to work with someone who's really creative and to like help them figure out how to translate their ideas to like a living production that you film. It's super satisfying feeling. That's why I had my sights set on being a producer, because it just seemed like the right fit for me.
And then what does that work actually entail? Like if a production coordinator's handling the hotels and all that stuff, what is a field producer doing?
Being a producer in general varies a lot depending on the show, the network, the people you're working with. So being a field producer on a show like Phil, which is a travel documentary style series, there's pre-production, which is doing a lot of research about the location you're going to, figuring out good potential places to film, good people to include, and then working with the director to kind of filter all that research you've done into a coherent shoot plan, which then translates to a schedule, and then making it happen. So reaching out to locations, reaching out to participants, scheduling all of that. Then, you know, there are usually some wild cards thrown in, like, oh, Phil wants to go on a helicopter ride.
Okay, so there's the broad strokes of all the different things a producer can do, but for a lot of people watching, I'm guessing you're mostly interested in getting into the field and actually making something. So next I asked Natalie what the day-to-day of running production looks like when you're out of the office.
Yeah, getting into the field, if you've done the right amount of pre-production, getting into the field is often pretty smooth. And
okay, I don't know how this works.
Producer is a lot of.
I feel like I need to watch a video about how to use this AI cinematic haze. So we're gonna put a pause on this and watch that, because I know there's some new features of the DaVinci, like this AI thing that I need to figure out. Lone Star TXN Transaction says, "Yo, how's it going, my man? It's going pretty well. Thanks for hopping in here and saying hi. I'm just doing a bit of a video. I'm doing some color grading today. I've got a lot of footage from my trips to Uganda recently that I need to get through. And now I'm stuck with this new feature called DaVinci Resolve AI Cinematic Haze. Exploring AI Cinematic Haze from Storybox. Oh, this when I say new, this thing was out 8 months ago. So it shows how much I don't know. AI Haze is ... good. Story blocks. All right, let's watch this, guys. It's got the most views.
Today we'll be looking.
All right. Lone Star says he's got so many tabs open for tutorials. Nah, man. Well, I should watch more tutorials, to be fair, because there's a lot of new things I need to wrap my head around, including how to color grade photos in DaVinci. But no, I got a bunch of other videos lined up. What do we have? We got some cool stuff, you know? Why Interstellar Feels Timeless. We have one from our very own community member, Fedorevsky. This one we were just watching. When Companies Give You Stuff. Marquise Brownlee. Keanu Reeves. Yeah, we got some random stuff, mainly around like filmmaking, photography, stuff like that, since that's the world that I'm in. But yeah. Lone Star, do you do like photography or videography or anything like that? Anyways, let's watch this.
20.2. Today we'll be looking at DaVinci Resolve 20.2.
What the hell is that accent? I kind of like it, but I don't know what it is.
Today we'll be looking at DaVinci Resolve 20.2 cinematic haze effect with tracking shots. In our previous video we looked at a static shot, but this time we're going to be looking at tracking shots, particularly car tracking shots, and how it actually...
Is this like a British accent? Man, I can't tell.
Affects and works with these type of shots. Is it usable? Is it not usable? Let's head into DaVinci Resolve and find out. We have this really nice tracking shot.
All right, let's find out. Now, the trick is for my particular shot here. I've said this on a previous stream when we were looking at these shots. This is not the best. It's definitely not my best footage. Sometimes you get really lucky when you're filming chimps and gorillas in the forest. Just because of the foliage, the green lighting everywhere, depending on where the sun's coming through, you can end up with some really clean shots. And then other times you get this kind of murky, ugly, basically what we're looking at now. There's just not much going on here color-wise that helps. Like, for example, this is the original shot, basically what it looked like once I put in the color corrections. So yeah, we're dealing with the unruly subject. But sometimes you get lucky, right? So the ones I was just looking at, this one turned out really nice, where we've got this clean colors here. Well, again, this is what we're able to do with the color grading, right? So prior to that, it wasn't necessarily at this, you know, what was it before? Something similar like this, right? And then we were able to bring some colors back. And as of now, this is probably what I'll end up using going forward. but here it worked out nicely. Yeah. So I'm curious with this new cinematic haze thing, will it actually end up becoming something I'm going to use across most of my footage in the same way I use dehancer all the time? Lone Star says, I do. Lone Star says, I'm new to the group. I did my first photo edit stream the other day before gaming. Oh, nice, nice. What do you shoot with? You said I do photography, but my day job is a TV/film editor. Yo, I feel like I should be asking you plenty of questions then, because that's the world that I'm trying to get into. Lone Star says, so all kind of wraps into one, and that's awesome. I was going to ask, how do you deal with the green tint? Well, I don't know. We're going to find out together how to deal with the green tint. Ad gel. Thank you, Lone Star. Hope the ad finishes soon. Smiley face. I forget how long these ads run for. Let me bring this back. Let's put this somewhere over here, maybe. But yeah, so Lone Star, I'm curious if you are back, if the ad is finished. I am. Oh, and then here, say hi to my cats. We got both my cats chilling with us today. I think both of my cameras are set to autofocus. Yeah, it's set to autofocus. Thank you again, Lone Star, for the follow. Hells yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, both my cats say thank you. Oh yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm curious what you shoot with. And then from my side, it sounds very fascinating that you're doing like TV film stuff, because I only very recently got into understanding filmmaking. I made my very first short film, which is on my YouTube channel, which you should check out. Exclamation mark YouTube. And there you can see it's called Island of Second Chances. I shot this with the Nikon ZR as part of their announcement when the camera was first announced. I work with Nikon in my region. So I'm from the States, but I live in Dubai. So the Nikon Middle East African region, I work with them quite a bit, and they reached out to me, asked if I wanted to shoot with the ZR. I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I made that short film. So, but yeah, so anyways, that's kind of my little rundown. With the green, I have no idea. We're going to find out. Let's see what about this cinematic haze thing.
Of this really nice Mark IV Supra. And we have the cinematic haze that I already have.
Yo, you know what I like about this dude? He's got just as many freaking nodes as I do, all right? Every single person makes fun of how many nodes I use. So it's good to see. I've got a fellow cluttered person. Each node has its purpose though, okay?
A before and an after, and you can see how much of difference it kind of makes. So,
sir,
the more I'm using,
what is his accent? Because that sir sounds like a Australian thing, yeah? Because they say or ner.
The more I'm being amazed at its capabilities. But I'm just going to get rid of this now. We can start from scratch.
All right, help me out.
So I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to make a new node right here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come over to my effects. And you're going to type in cinematic haze.
Yes. We're there.
Remember, you need DaVinci Resolve 20.2, and you need the studio version of DaVinci Resolve to be able to utilize this.
I just got a notification. The ad break is over. Does that mean, wait, does this mean the whole time? Lone Star, were you on break that whole freaking time? How long does the ads go for? Is it like set to like 90 seconds or something? Well, either way, thank you for watching those ads, I hope. Because I think that does mean, in a ways, you're giving me money, so I appreciate that.
And already we have this amazing before and an after. It's giving very Need for Speed, underground type of vibes, which is kind of awesome, to be honest. Yeah. And already I don't really need to do too much to this. Here we have the car, and you can press.
We did do the haze on another shot and looked nice. Okay, this is what I need to turn on. Depth map preview. There we go. All right, that helps quite a bit. Lone Star says I'm back. Well, thanks for being back. Thanks for watching those ads. The main thing I was saying was that's great that you're in the TV film industry. That's basically where I'm trying to go. And you can check out my latest. I made a short film of my own, which is on YouTube. It's called Island of Second Chances. It's 5 minutes. I hope you enjoy. And it basically is from my trip to Uganda. I got to shoot with the Nikon ZR, and I pitched an idea to the Nikon team Here, I'll play a little bit of it. Exports. No, 2025. There it is. All right, I'll play a little bit so you can see, but this was my first time shooting with the cinema camera, and that got me so excited that I was like, you know what? I need to get into the film industry. So my kind of film industry is more around like travel documentary style, most likely. Just given what I do, I normally do like wildlife and travel photography, and now shifting into videography. So I like to tell stories that are around wildlife and humanity, if that makes sense. So I was trying to find those convergence points where I don't want to say conflict necessarily, but it is around like where there's friction that occurs. So that was what the point of this video was.
When a chimp approaches you, stay humble, stay calm. You are the guest. Step back without leaving. Presence is not pressure. Here, when a chimp approaches you, it means the island kept its promise. If we cannot share this rally, how will we share the planet? To live together, we listen first, then we leave room.
Man, I was so proud of myself for doing this, by the way. Just
on this island,
you know, I don't pat myself on the back enough, okay? I promise. But this one, I was really proud of it because it basically was a one-man show, and there was such pressure to get this done. It had to be under 5 minutes. I literally got it at 5. And I think I put this all together in 5 days. So it was just 5 non-stop days where I was going through all this footage with this new camera I've never shot with. There's all these, like, you know, it's a pre-production unit, so it's just like everything about it was like pretty hectic. And I didn't know the first thing about color grading the way that you're supposed to do it professionally. I was learning about storytelling, so I put this all together. But
so the world can keep its footing.
You know what? It's 5 minutes. Let's watch it together.
My name is Dr. Joshua Rukundo. I am a wildlife veterinarian, and I've been working at the Chimpanzee Trust.
I did something here that you're not supposed to do, where I had the caption come off over on the left. But also the color, the lighting here is a bit darker than it's supposed to be. But
optimum captive care for those that cannot survive in wildlife. We currently have 55 chimpanzees. Number Island is a 100-acre island, about 95–96% of which is cordoned off, given their own space. And that space from the beginning was forested, but of course the forest has grown richer. Typically, the chimps spend the entire day in the forest. In the night, we have a place where they spend the night. We call it the Holy Cathedral sleeping area. And the only reason we actually have them coming in the evening is that this group would probably need about 100 square miles of forest for them to be able to forage food all year round. So we now supplement that with the nutrition that we give them. But their choice to come back is voluntary. Our founders were looking for a place where, one, there would be enough space. We didn't want to have a situation where it's like in a zoo and in a cramped enclosure. They have the freedom to be able to move as freely as they want and interact with the environment directly. Two, there would be natural boundaries, natural barriers, so there is no interaction with humans. And the island turned out to be a solution that captured all these facets. Many of the chimps that we have here have been rescued from very traumatic experiences. In the beginning, the biggest challenge was the pet trade. The challenges have been evolving since then. The human population is growing up. The habitat for the chimpanzees is shrinking rapidly. In Uganda, we lose about 20 to 25,000 hectares of natural forest every year. By the time I joined, the number of chimpanzees was going down at an alarming rate. There was a very, very big fear that within 20 years we would not have. They would move from being vulnerable to extinct. As humans, we protect what we love, but we only love what we know. And that's what the sanctuary plays a big role in, is to try and create awareness.
Lone Star says, love the intro. Thank you very much. This looks amazing. The colors and the depth. The drone track in the background to fill the ambient air. Oh, the drone. I thought you meant like a actual drone. Thank you very much. You know what, man? I appreciate you saying that, because there's a lot of chaos behind the scenes when I was putting this together, and because it was so secretive, I couldn't stream and edit. You know, it's not like I could ask for help from people as I'm doing this. It's like I just had to do it all on my own. So the chaotic element was one, how do I, after I filmed all of this, which was like terabytes of footage, how do I then construct a nice story out of it? I had done all these interviews, and like, how do I go through the dialogue and see what to keep, what to chop off, or what to arrange? But then to your, what you said, trying to find the right soundtracks to make this actually feel immersive, and hopefully the right emotions would hit. That was really tough for me, and I ultimately found some tracks in the stems of it that I was able to put together. I was really happy with it, but my God, it was yeah, it was a bit intense. But this was definitely one of the coolest shots from the entire trip. It was only I was there for 3 days. We just filmed as much as possible. I say we, but basically I just filmed as much as possible. And then this tunnel trek was always in like sunset time when they're coming back to their kind of home facilities. So the lighting was super cool. I was shooting with the 70-200 at the end of this like steel tunnel, and then yeah, catching them while they were walking past.
About the chimpanzees. One of the very first encounters, I think, in the first couple of weeks that I was here, it was one of the cases of the chimps that had a very bad injury to its hand, Billy, and I had to do a surgery on it. Billy is a gentle soul, but we have that connection because for me it was my first surgery, so to speak, on a chimpanzee, and it required an amputation of her thumb, but it was necessary and it saved the hand. You know, when you look deep into their eyes and you get this sense of knowing, they understand you, they know what your purpose is there for you, that you're going to make them better.
Our work is to be their advocates, to be their promoters, to be their protectors. Because as humans, we take claim over every species we have. We claim it as ours, and the animals have no one to speak for them. So it is up to us, people that love the animals, to speak for their behalf.
We rescue chimps to remember how to be human. Number Island is the second chance that makes the first one possible. We cannot change their past. We can change what comes next.
There it is. And yeah, a little thing about the Nikon at the end. Hey, it's been a while, man. It's been a while since I got to rewatch that. So thanks for striking up this conversation that got me to watch it again. I don't know, man. I got so lucky with that. I feel it was just a lot of decisions that went the right way, but it could have gone wrong so many times, right? So I'm really happy how it turned out. But man, it's like I look back at that, I'm like, I don't think I could ever. I don't think I could do it again. I feel like I would have made, damn, I don't even know what I'm saying. The point was, I don't know if I could repeat that, because I just kind of stumbled upon the right answers a lot there, as opposed to knowing what I was doing with, preemptively, like just understanding the structure of it. So that's what also got me inspired to just learn more about filmmaking. So like when I do these streams, I'm trying to watch YouTube videos that kind of breaks down filmmaking. Afterwards, after I made that video, I spent a long time watching videos about how to color grade properly. So I had a bunch of people who joined the live stream chats who gave advice, told me what to watch. I ultimately updated my power grade node structure so that I could, do it properly in the right sequence. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I've now inspired myself to improve. And then, yeah, trying to do this professionally. Hold on, let me turn this off first. Lone Star says, beautiful but intimidating factor as they're walking in the tunnel. Yeah, even this one, oh man, I had so many decisions to make. It's hard to do it by yourself. When you have a small team to help, makes it more bearable because you go through it all together. Yeah, exactly. My whole life, I've always been like a loner in that sense. Like I did my sport growing up since I was like 4 years old was wrestling. So it's all about just like, you know, you win and lose. You live and die by your own efforts. But it is, I'm always jealous of people that work with a team. Like I said, I was on a CNN Create project a couple months ago. So that was the first time I actually got to be a part of a true professional team. And I was just like a secondary camera operator. But that was so fun to be on a team like that. So I agree with you. My goal is to hopefully have my own crew that we can travel together and all that kind of stuff. But one thing I was going to say, to your point about the tunnel scene. So when I was, I hope I have it documented in a way. I should have just recorded myself going through this, but I mean, there's a lot of reasons I couldn't. One of the biggest challenges I had at the very onset of, you know, once I came home, was trying to figure out how do I start how do I make the intro of this video? Like, what exactly is the right way to kick it off? And so I did a lot of research on other types of like mini documentaries, like. And so I saw one around like using, you know, sometimes you'll see they use quotes at the beginning of a video. So I just happened to think like, okay, Jane Goodall, she's obviously very known, rest in peace, but like she is very vital to that conservation effort for chimps. So I found a nice quote and I found a nice way to kind of showcase it. But then I was torn between, do I start with one of these walking shots of the chimp? Because it is very impressive. It's like one of these hero shots. It's just so out of this world. I was very fortunate to be able to get this capture. But initially, I really wanted this tunnel shot. Because the tunnel shot, like you said, it's like so intimidating. And especially when the alpha, I think he was the alpha. When the alpha shows up here, it just looks, he looks like a gorilla, like just his sheer size. But then just the way that the light is bouncing off, and you know, you get these interesting light situations, you know, you get the shadows from the cage. So it just created such a also very unique scene. The reason I ultimately decided not to go with this in the beginning is because even though this is a conservation facility, like what they're doing is super humanitarian, ultra humanitarian. Unfortunately, there are different connotations that comes with seeing like a cage. So if I started with these footage where, you know, especially here when it's more obvious that they're walking through this like steel tunnel, it might drive the wrong impression that this sanctuary is like something where they cage animals, which is like, it couldn't be farther from the truth. Like, that's not it at all. This is just a way to have a reinforced tunnel to get them to where they usually like to sleep. But anyways, point is, that was even this was like a tactical decision I had to think through. Is like, okay, if I start with the most impressive shot where you have really nice golden hour lighting, you've got the chimp just staring straight into the camera and all of that, and it's just like, it just feels like a crazy, you know, like there are so many moments like this where you would see the eye of another chimp in the background and the light bounces off the eye and it creates like this almost monstrous like thing in the background. There's just so many cool things there. However, I didn't want to start with that feeling of negativity. I don't mind the intimidation, but the negativity of seeing like these steel cages, I wanted to feel very, very opposite of that, like them in their environment. So then, yeah, ultimately I was like, okay, then clearly I need to use one of these shots where now it's much brighter, you know, you're in nature. Now you got the greenery, you got the forest vibes, so you don't even see a human presence. Obviously I'm holding a camera, so you know I'm there, but like, it's very easy to almost forget my presence and just focus on the chimp. And because of how close up it is, you still get this feeling of like you're getting a hero character, you know, all of that fun stuff. So, you know, I'm happy I made this decision. I think I put a lot of thought into every single frame in terms of what belongs, what to remove, why it's in the certain ordering. I not joked, but I even made this point. Even this title sequence, I thought maybe it might look tacky, but I wanted it where once I landed on the title, Island of Second Chances, because these are our rescue chimps, and it's an actual proper island, I wanted the second half of the title to basically flicker on as if it's like a light bulb that looked like it was about to die, but then all of a sudden it turns back on. You know, there's a second chance. So yeah, there's like cheesy things like that, but I was happy with it. And then, lining up the dialogue. So for instance, here it says like, on this island, we practice balance. So the world can keep its footing. So while that dialogue is there, I wanted to have a shot where you see the animal is actually balancing. It's doing the thing that you're hearing the narrator say. And then here, when he says everything here is a lesson in balance, I try to sequence the shots that came after to feel like there's some balance going on. So, I was trying to balance one shot with the next. Let me see. So you have here the bird floating in the air. So like balancing, right? Floating in the air kind of a thing. And then here I just had it where you see the tide ebbing and flowing. So you have one coming, receding, and then one ebbing in, or whatever the word is. And then just a couple other things to feel like there's some balance. So yeah, anyways, long story short, this was a labor of love, and it definitely piqued my interest. I was like, it whet my appetite, where I was like, yo, I need to get into filmmaking. It was so much fun. And I started off in photography, and there is a magic to being able to take a single frame of something you captured, a single moment in time, frozen in time, and then from that one image, being able to captivate an audience and get them to be transported into a world, whatever the world you're showing, right? There's a true magic to it. So I don't necessarily think photographers are any lesser. It's just that with videography, there's a lot more directions you can take and a lot more, I guess, control over what you want the audience to feel. And yeah, so I think there's a lot more to learn in that field. And as of now, I'm enjoying everything I'm learning. So Lone Star says, you set the story up great. By the time you get to the cage shot, I already know it's a conservatory for these animals. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, that was like, I wanted to, what's the word? Not lead people on, but there's a word I'm not thinking of. But I definitely wanted to get that build up in place by the time that showed up. And also I changed, I don't know if you noticed, but I changed the background soundtrack, the tone of the soundtrack. It started to feel a bit more ominous by the time that was kicking in. And then I timed it, or I synchronized it to the section where the narrator starts to talk about something more depressing, because now he was talking about how the wild is struggling, how much forest is being lost, the concept of these chimps having to be rescued. So he was getting in more into the more depressing, sad, ominous topic. So then I was like, while he's talking about this depressing thing, then I'll show the very intimidating shots. And down the rabbit hole you go. Yeah, exactly. I'm deep into it. That's how I became an editor. Wanted to make home films, and my kids went down a rabbit hole. Nice. Yeah, it's always interesting where you start from and then where does it take you. So but yeah, so I still have like 10 to 12 other trips that I've been on in the past couple years. Like it's over 100 terabytes of footage. Now, unfortunately, those trips were way before I knew anything about storytelling around film or any of that. So those I still need to work on. So our next trip is in Sri Lanka. The one I posted on YouTube recently was from Mongolia. But these trips were not really ones where I went into it with the story in mind. It's not like I was like, hey, I'm going to travel to Sri Lanka because I need to capture this story. I have these shot lists that I need, blah, blah, blah. It was more like, hey, I'm going to this country. I have no idea what I'm going to see or what I want to shoot. Let me just film everything. And then when I come home, I'll try my best to find a story in all of the captures. So that's unfortunately going to be the approach. And hopefully we do find some juicy nuggets in all the 100+ terabytes. Lone Star says that's a lot of storage. Yeah, it is. If you see my desk right now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically, I have like 8 different hard drives. Each one holds up to like 16 terabytes or stuff like that. So it's a little bit insane over here. Are these sponsored trips or all out of your pocket? It was a mix. Sometimes I started organizing photo tours, so then people would join me. Some I've done through Nikon. I mentioned I work with them. Some were with like different, like for instance, like Safari Company. So there's a Safari Company that I did like photography instruction for. So then they basically paid for the flights and everything else. So there are different things like that that helped it not be so expensive, but it's not cheap still. Yeah.
Be affecting. If it's affecting too much of the car, which is like close to the camera,
Close.
we can affect the near limit, which is basically things closest. So you can bring this down, it'll push the haze like
Okay,
backwards.
okay, we're learning here. So let me turn on the depth map and let's see. I don't want the haze to be on too much of the body, I think, or on the face maybe. Okay.
You can see here, but we kind of want it. I mean, you can bring it in really heavily close towards the camera, but I just want to bring it just a little.
The only problem is right now this haze effect is a bit muddy. So I think if I could change the lighting of it, possibly. We shall see. Lone Star says, nice. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate
A
it.
little bit further behind the Supra like this. You want maybe a little bit to kind of interfere with the car, as it kind of helps to kind of blend things in somewhat. And then you have the Gamma, which is kind of like the strength of the density for the beginning, but I prefer using the air light and the density slider down here. So we're going to come over to atmosphere.
Okay, so instead of using gamma, he likes to use air light and density. Okay.
Spheric scattering, and we can increase this, and this kind of brighten out the density
Ooh,
that we
okay,
have here, and
yeah.
it kind of like this, and then you can have the density, which is basically how thick the fog is, and this is looking really nice. So if you're wanting like a really heavy night scene like this is looking really nice. But the problem with this is that this density, this fog, is very white, but we have this grey that we've applied that's very green. So we can actually add colour towards this using the colorize, and we can shift this colour towards a particular colour that we wish to kind of move towards.
We're getting there.
And maybe even just
So then I can make it slightly a little bit greener vibes, let's say. Lone Star says, Cyrones found me and gave me a shout out on the Discord. I had no clue there was a photography community on Twitch. From there, quite a few folks came in to say hi the other day. Yeah, shout out to Cyrones. He's helping me out significantly. He's one of the day ones. So I started just to share that journey with you as well. I did my first stream, I think last June. So it's been a while. But I went about 41 days in a row where I was streaming like 8 hours every day. Really fun journey. I do encourage if you can do that. It's just fun if as a new streamer, just to understand, learn the ropes. I stream on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So for me, I was like, let me just test every platform. I also focus on YouTube, so it made sense to be streaming on YouTube as well. And then, I think Cyroneus was one of the original ones. There's a handful that were part of that photography community. So then there's Maple Glades as well, and super welcoming. And yeah, it's really cool to see that there's a proper community. So yeah, it was really cool. Unfortunately, I'm kind of the outlier regionally, I think. I live in Dubai, and it seems like nobody else really fits into my time, my my time zone quite well. So it's hard for me to like tune into a bunch of your guys' streams, which is, it's not ideal. I would love to be able to hang out with you guys, or even, a couple times Cyrones has come in and he's helped me out with the voice calls, or like figuring out how to set up the voice calls. But again, it's like when I'm streaming, it might be early morning or late evening for you guys. I think it just depends. Like I think right now it's 9:20 p.m. for me, which I assume for Westerner, like if you're in the States, you're basically just starting your day. You might even still be asleep, So Lone Star says, I'm assuming Lone Star, and you got TX in your name. Are you from Texas then? Oh yeah, and then Cyrones is from Austin, right? Him and Randy C photo. Yeah, shout out to Randy as well. I mostly game on Twitch, but I think I might start throwing edit streams in the mix. Why not? I would love for this kind of niche to grow, right? Selfishly, right? Because we're in that niche. But I think there's something really fun with it. Could it be as exciting as video games? Probably not, let's be real. But for me, it's like, okay, I am fortunate enough to have traveled quite a lot. And if I can show those edits from my photos and videos, then why not? Actually, with that in mind, if you check out my Instagram, I'm YobelPrize on everywhere, by the way. Let me promote myself. I just posted another batch of 5 photos from my edits in Mongolia. So I don't spend as much time usually editing photos, although I was for about a week or so. But yeah, it's kind of fun because then you get to see, okay, here's my trip to Mongolia. Here are some of those shots that I captured. And then I can, you can see the before and afters, right? So obviously these are all completely finished. But let's see. Show me the before. Oh, I guess I can't show the before because these are all edited with the enhancer. Dang it. Hold on. What if I do it like this? Before, after. Where are you? I forgot the shortcut. There it is. Okay. Yeah, so you can see like a little bit of the before and afters. So yeah, it's kind of fun to be on a stream where you get to show people the process of like editing your final captures, and especially if you have interesting subjects. So because I do a lot of wildlife photography, that does help me out quite a bit, where the subjects are at the very least unique. It's not like I have I have one thing that's going well for me, one thing that's not. The thing that goes well for me in terms of what I capture, when I travel, I can share the best of the world with you guys, right? I can show you guys some really cool things depending on where I went to. So like in Mongolia, hanging out with these eagle hunters, and then I can capture these very, unique moments, let's say. Now, what doesn't work well for me is when I'm not traveling. When I'm not traveling, when I'm in Dubai, there's not as much breadth or depth to the kinds of really fascinating photos you can take in Dubai. One, weather permitting. So right now it's hot. It's so hot right now. It's ridiculous. So that doesn't lend itself to wanting to go out to do shoots. And then 2, it's just, it's not, it's more, like city vibes, sure, like nice architecture, but not a lot of nature, not a lot of the stuff that I like to shoot when possible. There's not like proper forest that you can go on a hike and then, capture things. You can go on hikes, but it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't hit as hard. So, but at the very least, when I'm home streaming, I can show you guys parts of the world that I'm traveling in. You can see how I edit my photos and my videos, and hopefully you find it enjoyable. But yeah, then it's like, at the same time though, like, man, to grow an audience on Twitch, which is known more for like the gaming side of things, it is tough. It is tough. So I don't necessarily say that it's, it'll immediately work out, but I highly recommend it. And yeah, let's see if the community builds up over time. You do a lot of street photography? Hells yeah. I was just mentioning, I guess you wouldn't really call this street photography. Oh, by the way, Lone Star, if you'd like to, let me include my Discord. So I'm also trying to build up a Discord community very, very slowly. But feel free to join that Discord. You'll be notified when I stream, but then also you can share your photos or your videos in the specific section there. So I think there's a few others in the community who are street photographers. So yeah, it's kind of cool to be able to start collecting other creators, photographers, videographers, and getting to learn from you guys or vice versa. Like I said, I'm learning a lot from Cyronius. So one of the main things for me in my journey is that I'm going to start doing IRL streaming. So he's helping put together some of the tech stuff that's required. But I will basically be able to do my IRL streaming for my niche, which is wildlife. So hopefully very, very soon, you guys will be able to tune in when I'm traveling to, I think the first country I'll be testing this in properly is going to be Kenya. So as I'm in the national park, you guys can see me rigging up a Jeep, going on a safari, chasing after animals, elephant chasing after us, and I'll be able to capture those moments on a live stream. So that's my goal, is to do that consistently, not just a one-time thing, but I have the ability to travel to these safari camps and to these locations and do this consistently. So that's like the big thing that I'm trying to get into eventually. So every stream that I do here in my home, it's kind of like to build up to that. And yeah, like for me, I'm a slow learner. And I'm a practical learner. So I just need practice. So Lone Star says, dropped you a follow on Instagram. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. The one area I need the most help is YouTube. I started in Instagram and I shifted to YouTube, and YouTube is basically where the brunt of my focus has been. To me, it's also just for content creators in general. I feel like YouTube is a really good platform for sustainable growth, you know? You have more time for people to get to know you by virtue of like YouTube, unless you're doing YouTube shorts, right? But generally speaking, you're spending a lot of time, your videos are gonna be longer, so it gives people more time to get to know you, your content. So hopefully people who watch you over time feel a bit more invested in your growth and what you do. And so, yeah, whereas like, you know, I remember I made one video on TikTok that blew up and it gave me like 100,000 followers. But it was like, it's like so meaningless because a lot of people just hit that follow button on TikTok, Instagram. But you're competing against like 5-second attention span. So it's just a difference. It's a different, yeah, I don't know. I think there's a level of there's a level of addiction that comes with Instagram and TikTok in short form that isn't as, I don't know what the right word would be, but I don't think it's as healthy as what can be built up in a YouTube platform. Lone Star says, I haven't posted on that Insta in a while, but that's where the bulk of my photos live. Yeah, for sure. I'm looking into YouTube more. Yeah, listen, I'm encouraging everyone to start YouTube. If you're like a photographer, get into YouTube. If you're a photographer and you mostly shoot things in your environment, try to flip the camera around. I made a YouTube video fairly recently about, it's called Embrace the Selfie. And it's all about why I think this is so important, especially in this new age of AI. I think it's so important that you get comfortable being in front of the camera. Because you're getting to a point where sometimes people will post photos and you have no idea if it's AI generated or not, right? Not just photos, videos, everything, right? And sometimes the quality from the AI is like, you know, leagues better. So how do you compete against that? And in my opinion, I think the more human that you can make your content, the better. So whether it's the flaws, whether it's your voice, whether it's sharing your face, like those are the things that hopefully over time people will want to follow. And I think that's where streamers have a leg up, right? They've been doing this, you know, especially the ones who've been doing it, you know, since the start of streaming. These are the ones that have been kind of ahead of the curve, if you will. Yeah, because like that's like the hardest thing for AI to ultimately replicate. Obviously, you can. I know there are like AI generated streamers, but that's more of a novelty as opposed to something that I think will be sustainable long term. So I'm looking into a POV cam for when I go out shooting, researching DJI Nano. Yo, you come to the right place, because actually I'll be showing some of that footage. I've got one right here, and I did a lot of research before I ended up investing in this guy. This is the DJI Osmo Nano. And the reason I went with this one is because it shoots in 10-bit log, or like a partial log. I don't know what they call it. It's like it's D log M, but it gives you a bit better color grading. Actually, here, and I'll show you. And I basically fully bought into the DJI system. So I got the Osmo 360. So I had this strapped in. I have the Action 6 as well. Here, let me show you. Because I was mentioning at the start of the stream, you can actually see it here. Oh yeah. So here, check it out. Oh wait, no, I gotta exit this. So for example, you can see here, everything here was shot with the Osmo Nano. So in this kind of like second layer, second track, all of this is shot with the Osmo Nano. And I just had this hooked up to my hat. So it's got a little hat clip. And the color grading is pretty decent. Like, it's definitely a step up from shooting with your iPhone. And I didn't use any ND filters. This is just an auto ISO. But I'd be able to just turn it on in key moments. You get this nice behind the scenes, right? So you can see as I'm driving. If I saw a moment, I would turn on the hat camera. You can see behind the scenes of me trying to film that moment very quickly. And so, yeah, so example here again. Yeah, so it's like adds a huge utility, especially for if you're like a solo traveler. It's a huge bump up. What was that? The Osmo 360. This is the Osmo Nano. I did have the 360 as well. I got some crazy chimp. I have a footage of a chimp attacking me that I captured on the 360, in addition to the Osmo Nano and my camera. But this is the Osmo Nano. So you can see again, you know, just as I go around. And it does a pretty good job. Like I said, you can see it was just an auto ISO, so it's just making its adjustments as I go. But now you get to see that extra level of the storytelling of like what's going on behind the scenes. You see how I create the moment itself. I have the DJI Mic 3. I have the Mic 3 as well. Excellent. The Osmo mobile gimbal. Yeah, so you might as well just invest in a system, you know, like just stick with DJI. Is it easy to turn on? It's super easy. Oh, and if you want to buy it, now I'll do my self plug. I don't know. Unfortunately, there's no discounts. But if you do want to see the gear that I use, I think this should work. Yeah, ! gear. It'll take you to my website where I have a page where it should be fairly up to date. It shows every single camera, lens, accessory that I use, memory cards, all of that. My presets as well. If you would like to, if you like my editing style, you can also check out on my website. I just put a link in the chat for my presets. So you can see all of my, I have about 100 presets, I believe, across my travels that I rely on. You can see the FX. I use it on all of my photos. And then the last plug is Dehancer. And the reason I'm saying Dehancer, so they reached out to me and I made a video about them so you can see like the quality. It's like to do film emulation. And I was reviewing them specifically on the video side of things. However, I ended up using Dehancer on my photo editing process, the workflow for the photo edits. And so if you like the quality of all of these photos you see here, these are all edited with my presets. And then as a final step, I put them through Dehancer. It's like a third-party plugin, right? And that gave me a bit more of this film emulation look, applying a bit of the grain, applying different profiles that are related to different stock, like, you know, film stock that was used. So yeah, all these shots were, as a final step of my grading process, I put it through Dehancer. And I'm really happy with the results. So, yeah. Anyways, so that's my final plug there. But yes, this is the Osmo Nano. And then I can show you, because you mentioned you do street photography. This is my next YouTube video. Hopefully I'll be able to publish it tomorrow or the day after. It just depends how quickly I work. But this is, it's about a 20-minute video. So it's actually one of my longer ones. But it's also something new that I was doing. It's basically like a 5 or 6 day challenge I gave to myself when I was in Munich recently. So in between my travel projects across Uganda, Tanzania, I was staying at a friend's in Munich. So every day I basically went out to try to, you know, capture whatever I could. So you can see here, I was shooting with the Nikon ZR. But then, so as I'm shooting, you can kind of see a little bit of like the different shots. But then as part of it, I wanted to share a lot of the behind the scenes. So these are all shot with the Osmo Nano as like the BTS, you know, point of view capture. And it worked really well. Like when there's, because in Munich, I was freezing my ass off. So the camera would run continuously for, I think, like the Osmo Nano, I think it was running like 40 minutes plus without it actually dying or overheating. When I was in the jungle, it would overheat maybe, or like when I was in Tanzania, I think it would overheat after like 15 minutes or so. But yeah, you could literally just have the camera running for like I think it was like 30 minutes plus. And so, but yeah, it helped out tremendously because now I was able to show a little bit more of a storytelling. So I can show like both the behind the scenes and then what's the final capture, you know, how did I shoot it and then how did I edit, that kind of stuff. So highly recommend. Lone Star says, nice, I shoot film, so I'm always trying to emulate that in my digital photography. Well, listen, you know, I don't shill things that I don't believe in. Dehancer, I use it, and this is why it's been fun to live stream, because you literally get to see how I edit. You see everything, right? The good and the bad. But you can also see how the products that I support or what I promote, if you don't see me using it, well then the proof is in the pudding, or not in the pudding, right? So I literally build it into my profile where I have a node just for Dehancer. And like I said, all the photos that you see from that Mongolia trip on my Instagram recently, those were edited with my presets plus Dehancer. So actually I can show you quickly. Let's see, if we take, let's do some edits. Where were we? Let me find a key moment. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this person here. Okay, let's say if I'm editing this shot here, I'll put some music back on. So normally I would do all my color corrections and balance and all that kind of stuff here. And then eventually, once everything looks fine, so let's say it's almost fine. I'll do my balance first. It's a little too warm. I think I want it to be a bit greener. Let's see if I can get it. Something like that. And then let's drop down the curves. So I shot this at ISO 6400. I think I can drop it down quite a bit. Yeah, even this is fine. Okay, anyways, so let's say something like that. Okay, so then, generally speaking, if everything looks fairly decent, I turn on Dehancer. So then I've just activated this node, and Dehancer, like the way I have it set up now, let's say, Rec 709, yeah, we're fine. I usually like to use Kodak Aero Color 4125. So then so you can see here, they have all these film profiles, and they update quite often. Actually, I should probably update it now. Let's see, check profiles. All right, so it's just adding a few more film profiles and such. So yeah, let's say if I start with the film profile, let's just start from the top here. They have something called ADOX. So if you shoot film, I don't shoot film, so you probably know a lot more about this than I do. But basically, they have everything from this ADOX to AGFA color, blah, blah, blah. And you can quickly go through all of them. Ambro type, Astrum color, Cine Still 50D, Cine Still 800, Fuji Eterna, Fuji Reala, Fuji Chrome, blah, blah, blah. And so you can see a bunch. I usually like this Fuji Color 100. And then, but the one that I use the most tends to be this one called Kodak Aero Color 4125. And then I usually turn on the film compression and I increase the tonal range, which then kind of gives me this, it just gives me a lot more room with the light to play with. And then I'll play with the white point until it looks fine, where I don't usually want it too contrasty, but I also don't want it too flat. So let's say something like this. Then there's the print profile. So I can choose between Kodak 2383 print film. They have the Fujifilm 3513. And then they have this thing called Kodak Endura glossy paper, which I think is a it's a print, what do you call it? It's like a film print for photo. Whereas I think the Kodak and the Fuji, I don't know. Listen, this is where I get lost because I actually don't know. I was just relying on people who would hop in on the chat and tell me the history of it all. Lone Star says Cine Still 800, got that on the shelf. All right, let's try it out. Hold on, let's go to, what'd you call it? Cine Still 800. So they have Cine Still 800T. So this is that CineStill 800T with my film compression turned on with Kodak Endura glossy paper, or if I turn on Kodak 2383 or Fujifilm, right? So then you get these different looks. Like I said, I prefer Kodak Aero Color 4125 the most. So then one thing I noticed usually is the Fujifilm tends to be a slightly cooler color-wise, which could work out well in the forest. So obviously you get some cool tones that match the greens. But I also kind of like this Kodak 2383. My assumption is the Kodak 2383 is more popular. From what I was able to see online, it seems like that's the look that a lot of people like to copy. I don't know. It's not my world. They do have this analog range limiter, which is really nice because it does help to identify where I'm a little bit too underexposed and try to lift up the blacks just a bit. But yeah, so then it's just it's a choice for me. Which route do I want to go? For wildlife stuff, usually I'll stick to like this Kodak Endura glossy paper because it's more of like, it darkens the look, but it keeps it natural. Whereas like the 2383 Kodak and the Fujifilm, it gives it a slightly more of like a creative look. But with people shots, I'm okay with having a little bit more of like a people look, if that makes sense. So it's just more of like, do I want to go to cool tone or warm tone? I'm not sure. And then you can turn on the grain. So here I can turn on the 35mm ISO 250 grain, or if I don't want it to be too grainy, I might just increase it to a 65mm ISO 50 grain. So yeah, you can play with the grain options. You got the halation options. You've got the bloom. So now I can add a little bit of that bloom effect. So yeah, it's pretty well rounded. Like it gives you film damage, film breath, gate weave. I can turn on this overscan mode so it mimics a little bit, I guess, like, I don't know, the projector look. I can turn on the vignetting, which looks nice on this shot. But yeah, so it's become a crucial is weird. It's become a pivotal part of my color grading process, both on the video edit side of things as well as the photo edits. So if you would like to use it, I popped it into the chat. There's a 10% off code if you use YobelPrize, all caps. It'll get you 10% off and it helps support this channel. So obviously I will love you long time. You know what I should do? I should create a code for my presets as well for people who, and I'll leave the code only for people who hop onto my live stream, I guess, as a thank you. Anyways, so there you go. So now I've got this, you can see here. Actually, let's play it out. So yeah, I didn't do any color. I didn't do any of the color grading. I didn't adjust any of the colors with any nodes within DaVinci. All the colors here, basically, I just played with through Dehancer, besides doing the color correction in the very beginning step, right? So this tool is impressive. It's amazing. It's like an all-in-one node. I still have all the other nodes for other things for sure, but like on its own, I love it. So as a quick little FYI, the shot you're seeing here and just like in general, I'm doing a lot of practice for these kinds of shots because I've traveled to Uganda quite a bit, and that's the area that I want to pursue the most stories. I have worked with the tourism board now and with the Wildlife Authority. I have some contacts here and there. So I'm trying to put together some storyboards of some film projects that I could do, where I'd be able to tell like a little mini doc, like a mini documentary style, into like, a day in the life of one of these forest rangers, right? How they got into it. Similar to that video I just showed you, my short film. How do I tell a human story of these people who live a very otherworldly lifestyle? So this was really fun practice for me to like even just practice getting these shots, because everything I do is handheld. I think let's say if I do pitch something with a proper budget, then I will travel with more gear. Like I'll get comfortable with the gimbal so I don't waste any shots as well. But I will say, like, for a handheld shot, you can still get some really clean, like, I haven't added any stabilizer, but imagine just apply a bit of stabilization. You can just have a few seconds of slow motion moments where it doesn't look too shaky and it's usable. But like I said, I should get comfortable with the gimbal. So yeah, this I gotta add this to my to-do list, but I need to chop up a bunch of these key moments here so then I can show it as proof points. So, because like I said, I have some meetings, I didn't say this, but I have some meetings coming up soon, and I need to do my best to visualize for these people why they should work with me, right? So the more I can visualize, the more they understand what I can do. If I just verbalize it, it's not enough. So I think I need to collect a number of these kind of moments here. I'll put it together as a slideshow and just be like, hey, look, here's my skill set. I can do these kinds of shots in these different environments. Here's the story I want to pitch. Can you give me money? Please give me the money, and then we can make magic. Lone Star says, nice little tool. Yeah, it is. Still a great shot, especially for handheld. Yeah, shout out to Nikon. Again, this is with the ZR. Just a proper piece of also a little tool. But it absolutely punches above its weight. Like I said, I was on a CNN project. They were shooting with the Sony FX6 and the FX3. And even they were impressed by the quality of the ZR. And the proof is in the pudding in that the video is out. So if you tune into CNN channel, you can see it as an advertisement that'll pop in there, here and there. It's in partnership with Explore Uganda, or the tourism board, and with George the Poet. He's an artist. And a lot of the shots you see there were shot with my Nikon cameras. So they liked it enough that they included it, so I'm happy. You got a pitch to show the idea. Yeah. So this is definitely one of those that I need to highlight as like, okay, I just need some of these key moments, slow it down, stabilize. But I quite like this look, you know? The other moments I want to showcase, and I've shown it on stream as we were doing the color grading, is for the shoebill stork. Let's see if I have some footage. Yeah, these guys. So same thing, being able to show these guys at work, the guides who are pushing these boats through the swamp, you know, for tourism, but also in search of the shoebill stork. So it's like heavy lifting stuff that these guys have to do. Not an easy job. But it lends itself to really cool film moments just because it's a unique situation. And then especially when you see them. Oh, I haven't color graded any of these. Okay, so I have a lot of work left. Oh man, I thought I was done with this day. I have so many clips here that I haven't edited. All right. Dang it, I skipped ahead. So I shouldn't be editing these chimp shots because I'm ahead of myself. Yeah, I skipped a lot. Damn it. Okay. Let me see if I can show some better examples here. Yeah, you get these cool moments where you can see, let's see here, even this dude, as he's balancing on the edge of the boat, and he's got his binoculars, he's searching for the shoebill. You know, you can get these really cool shots in Uganda. So, yeah, I'm going to put this together as a storyline. Lone Star says, literally, what I'm working on right now. Working on a development show right now to pitch to the network. Oh, nice. A development show. What is a development show? And then for your information. So yeah, so this was shot with the Osmo Nano. Again, I just had the Nano attached to my hat. And the cool thing about this Nano is it follows your perspective, right? So when you turn your head, the camera moves as well. So there's a little bit more of this human aspect to it, which I really like, because it feels a bit more immersive. It feels more like, okay, you're in the shoes of the person. These were shot with the Action 6. So I was attached to my vest. I had an Action 6 on my shoulder strap. I had the Osmo Nano on my hat. And then I had an Osmo 360 attached to the side of my camera cage. And the cool thing about this Action 6, of course, is it's very powerful. But again, you don't necessarily get that same kind of swivel effect when you see my head turning left and right or up and down. It doesn't necessarily follow the motion the same way that the Nano does on the hat. But this is, you know, at least you get some very stable shots, and generally speaking, gives you the right direction of what's going on. But yeah. Lone Star says, ad jail. Oh, dang. Heads up, ads may run in about 1 minute. Oh, I see. Oh, they, thank you. Shout out to TWCC. Ad break just started for about 3 freaking minutes. Holy crap. I guess I never really saw it from the other side of things. But listen, you know what? Thank you very much, Lone Star. I appreciate it because you are giving me money this way. Thanks for watching the ads and putting money in my pocket, smiley face. All right, so that means my work is not done. I forgot to color grade some of these shots here. All of this I forgot. Let me see if I can find equivalent shots. I think in the 100p there were, yeah, so if I can just drag some of these over. Because one thing I'm learning is important is obviously I need to like color grade consistently. So I guess one of the best ways to do that is just copy this over and like copy and paste it. So let me just drag this here. Okay. And then let me see how far back I need to go. All of these. Dang, how did I skip all of this? All right, let's see if I can find an equivalent. This is from, is this the light yellow? Let's see, light yellow, yeah, okay. Okay, so I need to copy over a few of these. Jesus. You know what? Let's just copy everything over. Basically, I just need to, oh, dang it. No. Okay, I think I'm fine. I don't think I edited any of these just yet. All right, so let me just drag these over temporarily. No. I got this. We're just gonna drag this over to the top. Cool. All right, ad break is over. Well, thank you for putting money in my pocket, as I said. What was I saying though? Oh yeah, so the Action 6. Action 6. I think the last thing I was saying is that Lone Star says we back. Hells yeah, welcome back. I was saying that the Action 6 was really great as well as a secondary action camera. But the problem is because it's not on like when you have a camera on your hat. I guess the Action 6 could do this too. It's just it's a heavier thing to put onto your hat. But with the Osmo Nano, since it's on your hat, you get that little swivel effect. So every time you're looking up and down, left and right, you can follow the motion or the action. So it feels a bit more immersive. Whereas with the Action 6, usually you just have it strapped into one spot. So it's a bit more awkward. Like it only moves left and right when your whole body is moving left and right. So it doesn't give you that first person point of view feel as much, but it's a more powerful camera for what it's worth. So all of these were shot with the Action 6. So it still does the job, but oh, this is where I got upset at the boat next to me here. But yeah, so anyways, it gives you different perspectives. Like I said, the coolest perspective was with the chimps. Let's see, you know what? Let me show you, because this was epic. This is probably the closest encounter I had with the chimps. This guy here. All right. So enjoy, because we have so many different camera angles for this. At some point, obviously, I'm going to turn this into a YouTube video, but we got so much stuff in the backlog. So this was shot with the Osmo Nano. Don't mind my heavy breathing. There it is. So that was from one angle. Give me a second. I'm gonna multitask here. So if we now slow this down. It's so much fun. We did this. I spent a lot of stream before breaking down this in all the different camera angles I have. But you can see in this one, basically, technically the distance I was at with the chimp is not a problem. You can see right behind me is the main guide, the main ranger. I'm basically following her lead the whole time. You know, as much as it may not seem like it, because you saw the chimp attack me, I'm not trying to be intrusive. Right? I'm just doing whatever they allow me to do. So I've been following this chimp for a while, and this is not the first time I've done this either. But the thing, and I have to keep this in mind for the future, is when I was following this guy, I stepped on a branch that made a huge, like a super loud, like snapping sound. And that startled the chimp enough that he freaked out, turned around, and then like got super close to me. But literally you see those seconds afterwards, he just stops caring. So it's this weird thing of like, he's just doing it for show, because he got embarrassed that I scared him. And then once he realized I'm not a threat, then he just moves on. Yeah, there it is. And then when you look at the Osmo 360, the 360 camera, you see how close his hand was to actually swatting me. And so you can see here, basically, once I startled him, so I stepped on something here, he freaks out, jumps all the way back, and then he uses that huge step back, but then he still got his hand on the tree. So then he uses that as extra propellant, I guess, to like propel him, launch him forward straight at me. And thankfully, this tree was in the way. Thankfully, there were two trees. I don't even know if you call this a tree. It's so tiny. But you got these like super thin trees in front, in between me and the chimp. So to get to me, he had to get past these two things. So I think just having to swat, the energy and like just the effort of having to swat these two things out of the way kind of prevented him from getting slightly closer to me. So you can see here he swatted that branch away, but then he wanted to get at me, but there's another branch here which then blocked his hand. You can literally see it, like as his hand is reaching for me, it gets blocked by that branch. So then it just, it's just one extra effort of like, he has to get through extra resistance to get to me. This was basically my Kevlar vest, okay? These two tiny ass trees was all that stood between me and the bullet, in which case this bullet could eat me alive. So, but yeah, pretty close. And then literally the moment after, oh yeah, actually, no, that wasn't the Ranger. The Ranger was behind. Yeah, he was my, oh yeah, he filmed this with my phone. Nice. So I forgot I had another camera angle. The Ranger was behind him. But basically, you can see the moment I turned around. He was already like, he was already all the way back at that tree. So he just did that a little show and then he stopped caring. All right, let's rewind it a bit. And life goes on. Shout out to Oliver Tree. I didn't know anything about the artist Oliver Tree. I heard his songs, but I didn't know it was him. I didn't know any of his backstory. Obviously, I heard that everyone, I think it was going viral. There was like a helicopter crash, but yeah. So shout out to him. He seemed like, from everything I could see, he was like the type of artist you want more of in the world. Doesn't do anything controversial. Seems to make really interesting artistic statements, creative directions. Yeah, life goes on. The perspective is great. OMG wild. Yeah, this is as wild as it gets. And like I said, this is just from one camera. You can see it from like several other camera angles. It was crazy. Actually, since we're here, let's see if I can find it. So then I have it on the Action 6. It's got to be here somewhere. Okay, it must be in this one here somewhere. Yeah, yeah. No, wait. There's like maybe 3 different times where it like kind of reached out at me. So it did give me 3 strikes, but... Okay, I don't know where it is. It's going to take too much time to find it. But the point is, this was a fun-ass trip. We had so many cool moments in between. Dang it, but I have so much... other... I thought I was done with these days of editing, but I missed a lot here on day 2. So I gotta color grade all these guys. All right, let's do it. Hold on, let me take a quick bathroom break. Lone Star says, I gotta get back to work, but I got you tabbed up. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Here, I just need to take like a 30-second break. So I will BRB and be back. We are back. All right. Let's get back into business. It is 10 p.m. It's just past 10 p.m. my time. I have so much more work stuff to do. I have a lot of YouTube videos that I wanted to watch. And Yeah, so let's get cracking. And oh yeah, I want to watch Widow's Bay tonight because the new episode came out. So a lot of things to get through. All right.
Just a little bit of blue is kind of nice. Honestly, already before and then after, it looks like real fog or haze has been.
Okay, I'll watch this one later because I don't think I need the haze for some of these shots. So let's get into some of these other videos. Why Interstellar feels timeless. I do want to know why. Let's watch.
Miller's Planet. Did you know on Miller's Planet?
Keep going. This video is unavailable? Oh no. This video is private. Dang it. Because yeah, I was going to say, I was so excited because it's a new video from Colo Kino. But I imagine maybe he needed to make some changes to it. I don't know. Let's see. Did he publish a new one maybe? Colo Kino. Dang it. Okay. So maybe he realized he had some mistake and okay. All right, then what should we watch next? When companies give you stuff. All right, let's watch this Marquise Brownlee video.
So MacBooks don't have touchscreens, but what if they did? This thing here is called the Magic Screen by Intricate. It's a touch-sensitive, flexible glass that snaps onto a MacBook with magnets, plugs in via USB Type-C, and immediately gives that Mac a full corner-to-corner touchscreen. And it works exactly how you'd expect. You can scroll up and down websites and in apps and poke around, do a little bit of photo editing. Of course, all of the iPhone mirroring in macOS Tahoe works even better since now you're controlling the app as it was meant to be controlled with your fingertip. So this is obviously a bit of a hack to make this possible. It's actually literally pretending to be a trackpad to the laptop. But as far as hacks goes, it's pretty well thought out. They've thought about the wobble that comes with touching the screen and made this accessory folio case for it that holds the display up nicely. They've thought about travel with it, so it tucks into here really cleverly to make it go with you everywhere the MacBook goes. You also obviously don't want to accidentally close the glass into the laptop and maybe break it. So they designed this corner USB Type-C port to also be a stopper, so it literally doesn't let you make that mistake. They even made this stylus accessory as well, so you can use this off of the laptop separately like a transparent Wacom tablet, and that gives it hovering and pressure sensitivity, and it has a 100-hour battery life. But the elephant in the room with all of this is the MacBook Pro update we're expecting later this year. If you haven't already heard, is we're expecting a redesign with an OLED and a touchscreen. And so knowing that kind of makes this product feel like it has a ticking expiration date. But I do think it's worth considering not everybody who kind of wants a touchscreen is gonna just have to go out and upgrade and buy a new $5,000 laptop to get it, especially when their M2 or M3 is still working perfectly well and probably still will for a couple more years. And the thing is, I think when that MacBook Pro comes out, it's actually going to make this product better too. Because as of right now, macOS is simply not built for touchscreens. Like, they've never had touchscreens. The whole thing is designed for mouse and keyboard input. And so yeah, some parts kind of look like they're starting to lean more towards touch controls, like Control Center and some of these insane controls, but that's a rant for another day. But the point is, when they do come out with that touchscreen laptop, they will also have to update macOS to be more touch-friendly in some ways, like some larger touch targets and some more adaptive UI. And so those things will make it to all of these, and that will make this easier to use. So things like the stoplight window controls, which are definitely too small to consistently press on the first try, that could get way easier. Grabbing the top of a window to move it around, things like that won't be such impossibly small touch targets anymore. So that's the bright side. They say they're planning on shipping a $150-ish version after a Kickstarter later this year, which definitely makes me nervous, but I'm wishing them luck. I'm still not the biggest touchscreen laptop person myself, but I think there's definitely people out there who will love this. I'm gonna link it below. It's definitely dope tech. Now, this video is all about dope tech that is displays. And so this one, by definition, may be pushing that limit just a little bit because it's a volumetric display, AKA a hologram. Now, we've already done an entire studio channel video all about this and how it works and why it technically isn't actually a hologram. But you know what? The technicality doesn't matter as much. The idea is that it's creating the effect of a hologram, which is this cool object displayed in 3D space that people can gather around and view it almost at 360 degrees. And the way that it's creating this effect is actually kind of insane. So this is what it looks like when it's off, actually, right? So you can see here,
it's just like
it's
a
actually
flat
two
panel?
displays back to back and rotating around this center
man,
axis.
tech
here.
is crazy.
And you can actually see individual pixels because it's not that super high resolution of a screen, but that's gonna make a lot more sense in a second. So like you've probably seen one of those spinning fan displays before. If you spin that one line of pixels around really, really fast, you can make a circle. And so if you pulse those LEDs so that they're in the exact same position each time they light up, you get a floating dot in space, like a pixel. So when you stack a bunch of these lines, that's when you start to add this z-axis of depth. But that's also when it gets incredibly complicated. So now it's back on again. This thing spins at 900 RPM, which is about 15 times.
Okay, but then another issue I'm imagining is because the panel is so black, you have to put, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But do you have to have this set up somewhere where it's dark? So the black panel kind of blends in with the background. But I don't know. What do I know?
Every second. And as it spins that fast, you can see when it lights these things up, instead of just one dot or one line at a time, which would look like a floating slice, now it has to take 3D objects and display all of the slices next to each other with perfect timing, so that as the panels spin around, it creates the illusion of 3D objects with actual volume sort of hovering still in space. And this is an incredibly complex feat of a ton of processing, because since a full rotation is divided into 480 unique slices, that means just to do 30 FPS video, you have to update these displays 7,200 times per second. 7,200 hertz refresh rate on these displays just to show this object at 30 frames per second. That is insane. And that's also why it's not the highest resolution display in the world, because there's already a ton of compute going on just to make this possible. Also, fun fact, there's even a little bit more processing headroom necessary for error correction, because these motors don't necessarily spin at exactly 900 RPM, and so it has to make sure these things all line up perfectly. But when they do, well, you're gonna have to take my word for it, because it's incredibly hard to capture, but it does look great. It looks so cool in person. Obviously the display is partially covered up here by a glass dome, partially for safety, but also partially to keep the display spinning with less air resistance inside. So there's a lot going on here. But yeah, there's specialized software to show these images and 3D objects made specifically to be shown on volumetric displays. And I just haven't seen anything else that looks quite like it. If you're interested in more on recording holograms, or why someone might want to beat me up for even calling this a hologram in the first place, definitely watch the studio video linked below. It is one of the most interesting pieces of tech that's ever come through the studio. Definitely dope tech. All right, so I know I just got rated S-tier chef by Nick DiGiovanni, and you know, it's cool and everything, small flex. But I also appreciate when cooking is extremely easy. And that's where our video sponsor, Chef IQ, comes in. See, this piece here is the tech we're all familiar with, but it's connected to this mini oven, and it turns it into a fully connected cooking setup. Just the oven by itself is already sick. You can just pop onto the screen, whatever you want to cook. Fish, chicken, steak, or even eggs, and it knows how to cook it perfectly. It can air fry, it can bake, broil, dehydrate, whatever. There's literally 10 plus cooking modes built in, and it does all of them well, so you can replace multiple things on your countertops. And if you go ahead and check on these, yeah, perfectly toasted. Something else this is really good at, by the way, is eggs. Might not be expected, but it actually comes with this egg tray. You can crack an egg in 6 of these and make fried eggs basically perfectly every single time, however you want. Something else to note, people don't really think about, is this still gets up to 500 degrees, but it is way smaller than a traditional oven. And so it preheats way faster. So I've been using my traditional oven less. But even...
So, I don't understand cooking that much. I cook simple food, okay? Is this just is this an oven microwave? I don't even know what this air fryer technology is.
Better pair it with the IQ Sense thermometer, and now it knows when the food is done. So like if it's chicken, it knows what the internal temps should be, and it nails that every single time. And of course, there's an app too. So now if I have something going for much longer, I totally leave the room and then I can check on progress at any time and of course get a notification when it's actually done. So if you too want to be an S-tier chef, but way easier, you can save 40% with code MKBHD at the link in the description. And yes, I did say 40%. You're welcome. All right, on to the next item. Okay,
40% discount? Man, Marquise Brownlee.
It almost looks reasonable because of how far away from it I'm sitting right now, but it's not. This is a 52-inch, ultra-wide, 6K, slightly curved, 120 hertz Thunderbolt monitor from Dell. And Dell actually came out with a bunch of interesting displays this year, but this, in my opinion, is the most interesting one. And the reason it's interesting to me is because I've been a dual monitor person for a long time. You've seen my desk setups. This is the first single monitor that I actually feel like I could use, and I've tried a lot of ultrawides, but the first single monitor I think I could actually use to replace dual monitors and like go all the way and not lose a beat. So first of all, 6K resolution, of course. That's 6144 by 2560. So it's not 8K or anything, but it's still enough pixels that it works out to be basically the same pixel density as a 27-inch 4K monitor. So 129 pixels per inch. Text is still super sharp, corners are crisp, so you could sit much closer to it without it breaking down at all. And then it just looks really good, especially for not being an OLED. It has these thin bezels all the way around. It's a slightly anti-glare finish, and it's an IPS panel. 100% sRGB and 99% of DCI P3 color. It's not like the absolute highest end color grading type of panel, but it is $3,000, and for all that money, you do get a very physically impressive and imposing display. But the feature that makes this really interesting, especially for someone who uses multiple machines, is this has a built-in KVM switch for up to 4 computers at once, and then a bunch of really nice software surrounding it. So you've got Thunderbolt 4, there's 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, 2 DisplayPort 1.4 ports. You can have multiple machines plugged in and then switch between them with one keyboard and mouse. And that's basically what it's designed around. So instead of, picture in picture, they have these picture by picture modes with screen partitioning into a bunch of different arrangements. This is what makes it a viable replacement for dual displays. You can even put everything on a single display, even from multiple machines. It's a multi-monitor setup on one monitor all at once. And the slight curve is also really nice. You can kind of see it here at the edges. There are some much more dramatically curved ultra-wide monitors, and it looks cool and everything, but this is a little closer to mimicking the actual angle that I have my dual displays in front of me at my desk. Because when you have 2 big displays next to each other, having them flat just ends up making the corners really far away from you when you're sitting in the middle. But the slight curve just helps, it's a subtle thing, but it helps keep things a little bit more directly in front of you so there's less head turning. And that Thunderbolt 4 connection, that'll do the 140 watts of power, so you plug it into your laptop. Through the single cable, you're charging, you're displaying, you can get 2.5 gig Ethernet through there all at once. It's great. So for the person who wants one display to rule them all for their entire desk setup, this is probably the one right now. It might cost 2 displays, but it kind of is 2 displays. So I like it. It's dope tech. Okay, let me ask you a question. Smart glasses or VR headset?
Smart glasses. Although I'm more and more curious about that Apple Vision Pro, which I feel like is a mixed reality set.
Which one are you more into? Because a smaller wearable pair of glasses you can wear all day, and it gives you convenient stuff like a heads-up display with notifications and directions and translations, and it looks inconspicuous. Or there's the full-on headset, which has the nicest displays, but it completely takes over your vision for the most immersive, detailed, high-resolution content experience. If you answered neither, but you still kind of like some parts of both, well, perfect. Then meet Project Aura. And this is an exclusive brand new first look here, and actually I can't think of a better way to explain it than just basically being right in between. They're a collab between Xreal, Google, and Qualcomm to bring these to life. And I don't know if you've seen some of the other Xreal glasses, but they're actually very simple. The idea is you essentially have a stationary display that you put in front of your face, and now you have like a 100-inch display effectively wherever you want to go. It's clever, but that was very much plug and play with other devices. This new Project Aura runs Android XR, which means a couple things. First of all, it's its own computer. It's wired to this smartphone-sized puck here by USB Type-C. And then it has its own sensors around the frames so that it can bring in your environment and anchor the graphics in physical space. So those 2 cameras on the corners on the outside are just for tracking, and then there's a single RGB camera in the middle. So when you fire these up, you look like this, but you see this. Android XR locked hovering in space in front of you. And then
I wasn't fully paying attention, but he lost me at Android. I'm Apple all the way, baby.
You can
Never
do
switching
everything
back.
here that you could do in the VR headset. You can open any of those Android apps, watch videos, move around virtual environments, and they're pretty good looking displays too, to my eye. 1920 by 1200 per eye. They're micro OLED at 72 FPS, but obviously the 70-degree field of view, it's nice for glasses, but that's gonna be less than a full-on VR headset. The key though is it's gonna be way cheaper and lighter than a full-on VR headset, so 91 grams to be exact. And so you're trading off the immersiveness of a full-on headset for the ability to see a bit more around you. It's looking through real glass to see the actual environment behind the UI. And so since they're lighter, they end up a bit more comfortable, and you might even be tempted to get up and walk around in them, or just wear them for a longer period of time than you would have worn a headset. There's this feature that lets you, while you're watching a video, pin it to the corner of your vision, so you can walk around with it like a little mini video player in a little HUD in the corner of your vision. It's kind of perfect for doing the chores and walking around or doing the dishes while listening to the Waveform podcast. Like before, to take a video with you in a VR headset, you'd like have to pinch it and hold it, and then hold it while you're walking around, literally taking it with you. So they've clearly thought about how much more likely you are to do that with these glasses than a regular headset. And then, if you ever just want to watch a video or a movie with just a black background instead of the environment around you, the glass has an electrochromic tint built in, so you can black them out with the click of a button, which is pretty fire. The glass all the way clear is like the equivalent of a light pair of sunglasses. It's not totally clear, but you can still definitely see the real world with the AR elements locked in. And then all the way tinted is basically pitch black. So when this actually goes on sale, the pitch is actually going to be split computing, which is basically just the idea that you have the compute in the glasses and the compute in the puck as separate, and that comes with some unique advantages. Like the puck is running the new Snapdragon Reality Elite chip inside, so it's high-end now and has a power button that doubles as a fingerprint reader, and the whole front of it is a touchpad. That's doing most of the compute. It runs the OS, it runs all the AI stuff. But when someday maybe that gets outdated, you can upgrade just the puck and then plug it in via USB Type-C to the frames. Or maybe someday in the future you decide, yeah, I kind of want better frames. I want a wider field of view or more resolution or whatever it is. Some new frames come out. Okay, then you can upgrade just the frames and keep the same computer. I was already super impressed just with the tracking from such few sensors and cameras, and the super low latency with this setup as it is. It's literally 3 milliseconds on this setup versus around 12 milliseconds on the Vision Pro. But yeah, the idea is this is somewhat modular, so you can update it one piece at a time in the future, and that alone is very clever. Literally less than a year ago was my video titled, "Wait, smart glasses are actually good now?" with the latest AR glasses from Meta, but like 8 months later, we already have all of this choice, all these different ideas of how these companies want to execute on face computer stuff. And that's fascinating, and it is dope tech. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one.
Thank you, Marquise Brownlee. You're amazing. All right, what's next? How Keanu Reeves reinvented the action hero. Yeah, let's do it.
Meow.
Los Angeles, 1998. A time when the sun shined brighter. Blockbuster movies weren't comic book adaptations, and the Wachowski sisters were still the Wachowski brothers.
That's what we were thinking.
Lawrence and Andrew were working on their new film, The Matrix. But finding a suitable actor to play their main character was turning out to be quite a challenge. After a lengthy search, they finally settled on Nicolas Cage, but the actor dropped out of the project due to family issues. Will
Oh
Smith
my god. I feel like we dodged a bullet. I'm a big Nick Cage fan. I quite like him. Actually, I don't know if there's many haters. He's just very quirky. Actually, I don't know. I feel like he's more loved now than maybe a decade ago. I have no idea. But I like him. I grew up with Lord of War. I used to watch that over and over again. But him as Neo in The Matrix, I just don't buy it. That would have been, I feel like that would have been terrible casting.
nearly became their protagonist.
Will Smith, I could see.
Challenge. After a lengthy search, they finally settled on Nicolas Cage, but the actor dropped out of the project due to family issues. Will Smith nearly became their protagonist, but ultimately chose to star in the fantasy western Wild Wild West instead.
Sure, I'm glad we got that cleared up.
The actor later admitted that he didn't regret his choice as he felt too inexperienced for such a role. And so, after passing through many hands, the script finally...
Yo, that's called cope. That is proper cope.
fell into the hands of Keanu Reeves. Although that's not quite true. Before entrusting the future cast and crew with the script, the Wachowskis required that they each read Jean Baudrillard's book, Simularica and Simulation, and then explained its meaning to them. Keanu was given a separate list of literature. In addition to Baudrillard's book, he was assigned Out of Control by Kevin Kelly and Introducing Evolutionary Psychology by Dylan Evans.
Holy shit. Hey, Mikey, I think he likes it. How about some more? Hell yes.
Once he completed the homework, the actor was easily able to understand all the references that the brothers had stuffed into their work.
He does one chapter, I believe, on like religious icons. The icon starts to represent God and it loses its power of a true connection to God because then you're with the icon and then you have a simulation of an icon until it becomes on the dashboard of your car. You know, a decay of meaning.
Reeves was approved for the leading role and was preparing to start a 4-month training course under the tutelage of legendary martial arts director Yoon Woo Ping. But his health
Saronius,
interfered.
what's happening?
His rapid recovery from...
So Keanu is so sick? Yeah, I feel like, man, talk about a dude that nobody seems to have a bad thing to say. The day that he gets canceled for something he's done in his past, I will have lost all hope for humanity at that point. What's going on, Saronius? I was just chatting with Lone Star. He had hopped in the stream. He gave a shout out to you earlier. So yeah. Saronius says he's the Mr. Rogers of actors. Yeah. Very, oh, well, I mean, I see what you're saying in terms of, what's the word? Yeah, his character is not in question. I was on a stream the other day. Gotcha. Yeah, he just so, you know, we're having a good chat together. Nala says hi. She's chilling on my lap for some reason for today. Do you have anything to say, Nala? You want to say hi, Nala? You want to say hi, Nala? You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Okay. Nothing from her. Bloop, 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 bloop. Good girl. Kimbap says hi as well. Do your cats like belly rubs? Kimbap does. Nala will tolerate it, but I think she'll be on edge the whole time. But Kimbap, like, he actually sometimes sleeps on his back. And so, like, if let's say, we'll see if it can make it happen here. We'll see if Kimbap shows his belly. Good boy. He's kind of in an awkward position, so I can't really get to his belly right now. Good boy. Good boy. Some belly rubs. Yeah. Good boy. I'll see if I can get him to turn around. Sometimes he does that. If you keep, like, annoying him, I think he'll do it. Let's see. Good boy. Good boy. All right, he's in too much of an awkward position. It won't work. But yes, Kimbop doesn't mind it. Nala's not a fan. How's it going, Cyronius? Happy Wednesday to ya. I didn't stream the other day, but we're getting back into it. I got a lot of footage to work through. Where was it? Oh, how's the Bella Box solution coming along? Dun, dun, dun.
The back injury that we mentioned in part 1.
My legs were I was getting paralyzed.
I think I need to reset my DaVinci Resolve. There's a bit of a lag
a couple
going
of
on.
weeks behind schedule. Despite
let's
doctor's
close it.
orders, he began training with no exceptions or breaks on the weekend.
Says we are usually off on Sunday, but sometimes Keanu requests a practice on Sunday. He's definitely, I feel like Keanu, of all the actors I would like to have a, who would I want to grab dinner with? Keanu's got to be way up there, just as a wholesome dude who's done some of the coolest films, probably has some really nice stories, and just won't be a dick, you know? He's got to be up there. Cyronius says, just getting some 3D printer stuff tuned in. Oh, nice, man. Who else? Brad Pitt, maybe? Leonardo would probably be the most fun, because that dude seems to live a very debaucherous lifestyle, but seems healthy. Which actor? Well, Jackie Chan. I feel like I would love to meet Jackie Chan. Yeah, we'll put Keanu at the top, because I'm drawing a blank.
However, this injury prevented him from practicing his kicks for the first 2 months, which is why he practically doesn't do any in the film.
Oof.
By the way, the actors had only planned for a couple of weeks of training, but a full-fledged course was a requirement for Yoon Woo Ping's participation in the project. He created a customized program for each actor that hid their weaknesses and improved their strengths.
I know Kung Fu.
In March of 1998, Keanu moved to Australia, where he spent the next 6 months on the set of The Matrix.
I felt like there was a really great excitement about it. I remember when we showed up, meeting the people who were building the sets. It was in a new studio. You know, costumes were being built. We were getting ready to go, and it seemed like everybody who was working on the picture had a genuine enthusiasm and excitement about what they were working on.
We could spend hours talking about the creative process that went into this film. Innovative technologies, tons of crazy stunts, and elaborate scenery. It was a challenge for both the actors and the film crew. After his work in Speed, Keanu aspired to do all of his own stunts. So in this scene, without using any safety harness, he actually climbs out of the window of the 34th floor. And given the luck that stuntmen have, it was for the best.
3, 2, 1,
In the fight sequence with Agent Smith, 2 of Reeves' 3 doubles received broken knees and ribs.
Jesus.
Of course, let us not forget this fleeting nod to Bruce Lee. It was immediately decided to keep this improvisation by Keanu in the final cut of the film. This role, containing so many references to religion, history, and philosophy, also had one haunting metaphor. In the Wachowski brothers script, Mr. Anderson woke up 7 times.
Mr. Anderson.
That is, Neo woke up. Right. It's not hard to notice that before the final monologue, Neo says no more than 5 sentences in a row. This technique makes us doubt the hero's exceptionalism almost until the end of the film.
I'm not the one. Sorry, kid.
Keanu's final test was shooting this scene. He lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks and shaved his entire body, including his eyebrows.
And action. Light.
It was this very moment that marked the end of the filming process.
Thanks, folks. That completes principal photography on the Matrix.
2 days later, the actor returned to Los Angeles, where the paparazzi who saw him immediately began spreading rumors that Reeves had either gotten hooked on drugs or been stricken with some horrible disease. The actor's mysterious life has been a favorite topic of the tabloids for a long time. Keanu didn't own his own home, and throughout his 13 years in Los Angeles, he either lived with friends or out of hotels. Basically, his behavior was very secretive. Of course, after the film's release on the big screen, everything fell into place and the questions stopped. Then it was revealed where the actor had disappeared after returning to the city. He admitted in an interview that he had left for Tahiti to spend some time with his sister. 30-year-old Kim had been diagnosed with lymphoma, which she had been battling for more than a decade.
Yeah, talk about I feel like it's overdone at this point, but the amount of stories you would hear about like how tragic Keanu Reeves' life is and how nice he is behind the scenes. I'm assuming it's all true, but yeah, talk about a tragic life. Cyrone says LMFAO. Yes.
Today, Kim is healthy, and the Reeves have overcome this disease.
Oh, wait.
All these years.
I thought his sister died. Wait. Oh, no. That was his. Oh, okay. Wait. It might. See, that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's so many stories that blew up everything tragic in his life. I think his wife had died. I thought his sister died too, but apparently not. What did I miss?
30-year-old Kim had been diagnosed with lymphoma, which she had been battling for more than a decade. Today, Kim is healthy, and the Reeves have overcome this disease.
Okay,
all
that's
these
good.
years, Keanu has spared no effort nor expense not only in the fight against his sister's disease, but also in the struggles of thousands of people around the world. Reeves is an activist for the Stand Up to Cancer and Sick Kids Foundation organizations, having donated tens of millions of dollars to their causes. The actor also owns a private charitable company that finances the treatment of childhood cancers. The Matrix premiered on March 31st, 1999. Over the following months, it would become a commercial success, as well as a favorite of critics.
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
And for Keanu, the film's success also meant financial gain for him. In addition to the $10 million actor's fee he received before filming even began, thanks to a percentage clause in his contract, he earned about $25 million more. It's also worth noting the incredible coincidence that awaited The Matrix at several film festivals and award ceremonies. We are, of course, referring to the film The 13th Floor, which was released that same year.
Electronic simulated characters, they populate.
The 13th floor? What is this? The 13th floor. Yikes, 29%. Sci-fi thriller that explores the ominous possibility of computer-simulated universes. Oh, wait, hold on. Hello. 64% from audience. And that's 25,000 plus ratings. Hold on. Is this kind of like watching Equilibrium? I remember watching it when I was in high school, I think. After The Matrix, people are like, oh, this is like The Matrix, a version of it. I really enjoyed Equilibrium. A man awakens to discover a bloody shirt in his house and his boss murdered the night before. Did he do it? Why can't he remember? The 13th Floor is a sci-fi thriller. Okay. Should I add this to the list? I might watch this tonight. I got Widow's Bay to watch tonight. This could be a fun one.
The system. They think, they work, they eat.
The ideas depicted in each of these films are so similar that it seems that such a coincidence could only happen in a simulation.
Right now we have a working prototype, Los Angeles circa 1937.
It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix.
Although if we're talking about coincidences, then we have to mention Dark City.
There are people coming for you even as we speak. Who's coming for me?
Oh, I watched this one with a buddy of mine recommended. We watched it together. It was good.
Your entire history is an illusion.
Oh yeah, Jack
as
Bauer.
it is with all of us.
You've been living in a dream world, Neo.
This is the world as it exists today.
But it was the Wachowskis' picture that remained in the hearts of viewers around the world. It was so successful in the early weeks after its release that Warner Brothers began working on sequels. As for Keanu Reeves, he had just found himself a new project, the sports drama, The Replacements.
I remember watching this. It was good. Or I enjoyed it.
Bateman. Shane. Falco.
Aside from receiving a salary of over $10 million for the second time in his career, for Keanu, this film was also memorable for the opportunity to work with Gene Hackman.
You look like a swordfish I caught once. Yeah, he hit the deck just like that. You know who I am?
A mutually enjoyable experience for both actors. This was in stark contrast to the way Keanu was treated by another Hollywood old-timer, Al Pacino.
Uh-oh.
Reeves completely surprised everyone involved in the project with his incredible ability to train. When he first hit the football...
Wait, what? Are they going to get into some... I love some juicy drama. Was there some... Did they hate each other? Tell me more.
Field, he couldn't throw the ball further than 15 yards. But by the middle of filming, he could launch it more than 50.
Damn.
Add to that 20 pounds of muscle and daily workouts with a professional football team, and we get a sense of the actor's typical dedication to his roles.
Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Hey!
It's been so long since I've seen this movie. I don't think I even recognized that it was Keanu Reeves when I saw this. All right.
Do you like our work? Let us know with your like and comment. Push that subscribe button and share with your friends. If you want to support the project financially, become our sponsor on Patreon or YouTube sponsorship. Thank you. Let's move on. Between filming in Maryland, Keanu would often return to LA, where he was spotted in the company of a mysterious stranger. This was Keanu's first relationship to hit the spotlight, which meant her name wouldn't remain a secret for long. The actor's special someone turned out to be director David Lynch's personal assistant, Jennifer Syme. Usually not one to go into details about his personal life, a few months later, Keanu made a statement that he and Jennifer were expecting a child. He also spoke a little bit about their relationship, highlighting their shared passion for motorcycles. Although the couple lived separately, journalists had evidence that Keanu, after 13 years of living in LA, was finally purchasing real estate in California. Meanwhile, The Replacements was now in post-production, and so he began working on a new project, the crime thriller, The Watcher.
This will be fun.
The Watcher was the directorial debut of Reeves' old friend, Joe Charbanek, who had documented the tours of Keanu's band, Dogstar. The actor thought it would just be a cameo that would take 2 to 3 days to shoot, and so he agreed to the minimum rate set by the Actors Guild.
I know your job is hard, Joe. So I'm willing to take steps to try and make things work between us.
But when he received the script, he realized that he had been cheated. His role had been expanded, almost to the point of being the main character. He later found out that his co-stars, Marissa Tomei and James Spader, were being paid their normal rates.
What the What is that?
I never found the script interesting, but a friend of mine forged my signature on the agreement.
Oh
I
my
could
God.
prove he did, and I didn't want to get sued. So I had no other choice but to do the film. The Watcher and The Replacements were released simultaneously at the box office. Both films saw lackluster results and were crushed by critics. Articles about the films were full of statements like, "After playing Neo, we thought Keanu had reached a whole new level, but unfortunately, it was just wishful thinking." To make matters worse, Reeves received his 5th Golden Raspberry nomination for the role of Griffin. But to be honest, he didn't care about what the media were saying, because tragedy had struck his personal life. In December of 1999, Keanu and Jennifer were preparing for the birth of their daughter. They attended prenatal classes and visited baby stores. But on Christmas Eve, Jennifer's health rapidly began to deteriorate. The couple went in for an ultrasound where there were...
Oh, okay. Now, so they lost the baby. I think because of that, they got divorced, and then later she was killed in a car accident. Is that the sequence of events?
Fears were confirmed. Due to a blood clot in the umbilical cord, their baby had died. A photo of Jennifer and Keanu at the grave of Ava Archer Syme Reeves made headlines around the world. But Keanu didn't have time to grieve, because shortly after the funeral, Kim was once again diagnosed with cancer. He moved in with her and supported her throughout her chemotherapy. After 6 months, it became clear that Jennifer and Keanu had broken up. In an attempt to cope with loss, Keanu threw himself into his work. He began by signing a contract to star in the second and third installments of The Matrix. Reeves was given the best offer of his career, $30 million, or 15% of the proceeds, whichever was higher, in exchange for 250 days of filming. In addition, his group Dogstar would feature in the soundtrack. Filming was scheduled to begin in the middle of 2001, but Keanu couldn't allow himself to rest. To escape his personal problems, he got involved in a new project by Evil Dead director Sam Raimi. Keanu's first appearance on set wowed his co-star Giovanni Ribisi. He looked scary and menacing. With that long hair and beard and eyes that cut to the bone, Keanu was going to surprise a lot of viewers. He plays a very convincing lowlife.
I'll handle you later on, you goddamn bitch. Get you with this.
In order to transform into Donnie Barksdale, the actor moved to Georgia 3 weeks before the filming began and dressed in his character's clothes every day. He would even drive his pickup truck around town, often scaring the locals.
You know what this is? It's a voodoo doll.
Voodoo doll.
The Gift was released in the middle of 2001, but despite excellent reviews from critics, it failed at the box office.
Motherfucker! Shoot me!
Well, Keanu continued his marathon by signing up for roles in 2 more films. Romantic drama, Sweet November, in which he reunited with Charlize Theron.
Hi, would you like to get naked with us? We live here. We have a tub full of fudge and vodka. Come on, it's gonna be fun.
Ignore her. Ignore her.
He's really
Hey,
cute.
what are you doing?
And the sports drama, Hardball.
New rule. No one can say anything bad to anyone else on the field.
But his workaholism didn't end there. Before filming, he recorded a new album with Dogstar and went on a small tour with his band. Apparently, only a tight schedule could help the actor drown out the pain of loss. The filming of Sweet November in the spring of 2000 is remembered as being one of the biggest wastes in Warner Brothers history. The studio paid Keanu about $10 million to star in an impressive number of nude scenes. But during editing, they decided they didn't want to get an R rating and cut out almost all of the juicy material between Charlize and Keanu.
Wait. What are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
The actor openly stated that by cutting out all of the most human and sensual scenes, the studio had signed the film's death warrant.
Excuse me, I think you're making a mistake. Nelson, I've seen your sales. I mean, you're in big trouble.
And he turned out to be right. The box office flop came with devastating reviews, in which critics scolded the actor for playing another flat, expressionless character in an unnecessary remake of a good film.
1,000 Novembers, Sarah. For as long as they last.
But a worse fate awaited Keanu while working on his next project.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, Tiki.
Come on, hey.
Keanu received another helping of criticism and won the Golden Raspberry Award for both Sweet November and Hardball.
Ha! 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 I'm not listening to any of you.
No,
I'm
what are
not
you doing?
listening to you. I'm not listening to you or any of you.
It is unclear what...
Alright, Nala's going crazy. What do you want, Nala? What's going on? Let go. Come on. I think her claws caught on my chair. Come on. There you go. Good girl. Ugh. What's going on, huh? Are you a good girl? Ugh. All right. It is now almost 11 p.m. So I think this is probably where I should put a pause. Yo, Swiss Army. How did I miss your message? Wait, when did you send me that message? Oh man, Swiss Army, I'm so sorry. You were chatting on the YouTube. I didn't realize my YouTube. Oh, this whole time. This whole time my YouTube chat was not connected to OBS. So I didn't see any of you guys' messages. My bad. Hold on. At Katzenellenbogen. I missed you there. My chat. Okay, well, my bad. For my YouTube channel, or sorry, so my YouTube chat wasn't syncing up with my OBS thing. So I missed some chat. So Katzenellen had said, quick pop in, hope you're doing well. 7 hours of studying. Gotta go, cheers. Well, good luck on studying, Katzenellenbogen. Sorry again, I missed your messages there. And then Swiss Army said, have you moved to DaVinci yet for grading stills? Or are you still on another platform? Been a Lightroom guy forever. However, I should move to DaVinci. I don't know yet. I still think I prefer Lightroom, generally speaking, but I haven't done like a proper edit. Chimp Eyes, I still need to hook you up with my drive guy. I just bought about 120 terabytes. Jesus. Okay, well, let me send a quick message in the Discord. And looks like I gotta fix something on my end. Yo, sorry, my YouTube chat wasn't syncing to my... Okay, anyways, I'll take this as a sign for me to end the stream for the day. It was productive. And look at my cat. Look how pretty she is. Productive stream. I got through a decent amount. I have a lot more to go, so we'll keep on working. I gotta have a late dinner, watch Widow's Bay, and maybe a movie. I'm not sure. We'll see. And then tomorrow, I got a lot of things to get done. So I will be busy, but we'll be streaming. And then, yeah, feel free to check out my latest YouTube video, as well as I made a post on Instagram with some additional photos from my Mongolia trip. I have so many more to share, but I have so many that I figure it's better if I just do these in bite-sized pieces. So I had 5 photos the other day from a series of the Eagle Hunter together with the horse and the eagle. Today I posted just of the horses, a sequence of them. So feel free to check it out. Hope you enjoy. Thank you everyone who's hopped in to say hi or just tune into the stream. It means a lot. I appreciate it. And then I will be back tomorrow. So enjoy, guys. Cheers and have a good night or a good day.